Hey, what's going on, guys? Gonna be Donnie coming to you from the South Japan Pinku Style Podcast Studio. Today we got a cool one because this is one of the few people that have taken advantage of hitting me up to get on the podcast to promote something, talk about whatever they got to talk about and everything. And right up the top, the guys who want to get on the podcast to do whatever, just hit me up down on the PinkuStyle.com or podcast@PinkuStyle.com, and we can get your situation situated and get to it, man. So today we'll have our guest introduce himself, talk about his event, and then from there we'll go into it, man. So get right into it, brother, and just introduce yourself to my circle of gearheads and people, and we'll go from there, man.
Yo, okay. Thank you so much for having me on here, Mr. Pink Ranger, Mr. Donald Jackson. My name is Minh Williams. I am from Texas. I'm a lot of things. I'm a high school teacher. I teach interior design. I studied automotive design over in California and did some awesome things over there. And now I'm back home, back in Texas, Dallas area, talking about Drift Hub. So I am co-owner of Drift Hub DFW Gaming Rental Trucks. So follow us on Instagram, Drift Hub DFW. And we're doing awesome things. So I mean, like we this is basically version 2 of Drift Hub. We were a drift customization shop before, and now we are a gaming truck. Because I mean, look, it's one thing that look, my hat's out to every mechanic shop out there and customization shop. It is tough. It is a tough job, and then we just realized that at one point, like, we're not at the track. We're worried about getting the next customer's thing done. Like, I want to be at the track. Why are we doing all this stuff? So we were like, you know what? What can we do as a service for the people? We know our people love video games. We know our people love simulators. So we were like, you know what? How are we going to get our simulators into the truck so that we can get out to events, have people tandeming? I don't know about y'all, but I've been that person on the sidelines when my car is down or whatever it is, and we're just hurting, trying to get some extra time, or just wanting to be on the track. But having those simulators there help out a bunch. Even at that, we've geared and tuned our simulators like hundreds of hours trying to make sure that they feel perfect. So we've set them up to feel just like 350Zs. And soon, hopefully later this year, we'll be unveiling some rental cars here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We have an IS 300 that we're going to be letting people jam on. We're going to have 2 350Zs that we're going to let people jam on. And it's going to be a great time. So I mean, it starts with the gaming, right? So much of our generation love games, love Gran Turismo, love Assetto, love all of the Need for Speeds, all of it. And then the next step is like, let's get yourself a car. So we're doing that. We want to teach people to drift. We want to be that party at the event. We want to be in that VIP section with all the rowdy people. That's where we want to be. That's where we love being. So hit us up. Rent us. I mean, we're available for rent. We can show up to your party, to your business, to whatever it is, and we can turn up.
Awesome, man. Awesome, brother. Hey, man, hey, man, I got to give it to you. That's one of the best introductions I've had pretty much a long time, man. And it's cool because that means like when you ask guys there who don't know how stuff works, man, when you ask somebody about themselves and like they like, well, I guess I'm like, in the marbles, and it's like that means the person really is not really doing much, and they should be doing more. And that means the person right here, man, he's passionate about what it is he's doing, man. So definitely, guys, go out there and check out Drift Hub. I had it up here on Instagram, so you see it right there on Instagram, Drift Hub. And check out Instagram. It's pretty active. And that one thing, first thing I seen was like the color tabs for like the stuff right here, man. So you can see like they're into customization, things like that. So check them out. Drift Hub on Instagram. Instagram. Are you going on Twitter as well? Or is this Instagram?
Instagram and Facebook is our main places right now.
Check them out on Facebook. Drift Hub. Easy to find there. It came right up when it was the first one up there. So that's awesome. And then as you see, as he's talking in the background, right here with the Sims and things right there. So you guys know, I mean, right at the top again for the guys who are just meeting me for the first time, I'm a performance shop, pro drifter, all that stuff, based in Japan. I've been here 15 years. All of this that I'm doing and everything started from Gran Turismo 1, man. Everything.
Right?
Everything.
Absolutely.
I didn't come from a family of car family. I am the car guy in my family, in my entire family. Like everybody else, maybe they like some Crown Vics from Baltimore and shit like that. But that's not what we do and everything. But so being from Baltimore, being into Japanese cars, being a black guy, we were always kind of like out there with the Asian guys and the white guys and everything, and it was like a good culture exchange because we knew everything about them, but they knew nothing about us and why people of color were into Japanese cars. So I've had a guy even say that's how unusual it was to have people out there. Guys like, I didn't know color guys were in the cars. I'm like, dude, it's like 2000 something at that point. Like nobody says color anymore. So it's like,
hey man, like it still irks me when I hear people say it. I'm just like, okay, can we just? But it's like they don't know that struggle. They're not familiar with that. Like they can't relate. So
but on your event, I want to definitely so the event you got coming up on the what is it, the 9th?
July 9th, this Sunday, 11 to 3. Okay. So we are hosting a block party. We teamed up with a local brewery. That it's called Lakewood Brewery. They make their own beer. They ship it all over the place. They have a whole bunch of awesome stuff. Craft beers. Every Friday they come out with a new flavor of only like 1 or 2 kegs. So like every week is a new flavor over there. And they want to try and get into a newer market because like brewery markets are usually a little bit older. Mm-hmm. But we have that other thing that they're looking for, and we want to try and bring it there. We partnered up with them. We partnered up with KBD Body Kits. They're going to be coming through. We partnered up with ECU Master. Hopefully they'll be able to have a vendor, have a vendor booth, but we do have some merchandise and prizes for that to give away. We will be giving away at least 2 Kenda tires for the winner of our drift tournament. So we are going to be having our Sims for a drift tournament. Nice. We're going to have some judging going on. So it's like the winner of that is going to get at least 2 tires. If we get more and more competitors on board to sign up on Eventbrite, please make sure y'all sign up on Eventbrite. That way, if we have over 10 guys sign up for our Sim Drift tournament, we're going to get more stuff. But right now we have Careless, I believe, sent us a package. So we should have some sunglasses and stickers from them. Like I said, ECU Master, they sent us hats, stickers, and shirts to give out. Of course, we have our own merchandise we're going to be giving out. Lakewood Brewery is going to be giving out merchandise. I mean, when I was growing up, back in the street racing days, 90s, Civics and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Like there wasn't a whole lot of this stuff going on, and then all of a sudden it just turned into car meets, and the car meets got boring. So like for me to host any sort of meet or show, something has to be happening. Like action, there needs to be some action. Yeah. and we bring in the action because like we don't just go to just sit in parking lots anymore. It's not what we do.
Yeah, I think we're in the same wavelength, man. I had to talk to a guy the other day, and he thought I was against people, like I hated people at car shows. I'm like, dude, I'm active, dude. If we got some drifting in the background, and then our car meet is when we go to cool down in the pits. Like that's a car meet, what I mean. And then we're changing our tires, doing our thing and everything. And then if you got time, you can stop. Somebody stops over to your car, chat. Hey man, what's going on? Blah blah blah. But the thing is, we don't even. It's weird. You don't see a guy really in a drift scene be like, hey man, so tell me everything you got, because we're like, dude, we know he has an angle kit, we know it has tires, we know it got, we know we have all the basic ingredients to slide. Yep. That's it. So and it's nothing against car guys, but Cars and Coffee is just not my. It just doesn't appeal to me, because when I started in '99, whatever, that's what I did for the first 8 years. Is every Friday, Saturday night, sometimes Sunday, we go to a parking lot and hope to see a race. Because our cars are too slow, 14 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe 13.9. And then
we couldn't even follow them.
Yeah, the guys
couldn't even follow.
Yeah, and that's why, honestly, for me, I got drift. I mean, I ran a 13.7 as my KET 240, and I was like, dude, drifting is just, it's cooler to me. It's just cooler. And at the time, man, 10 seconds was kind of hard to get, man. So going there, I kind of want to go back, man. We got the event. Everybody out there, I'll post it up on the social media so you guys can see. And again,
thank you.
When you did hit me up with a sufficient lead time, I just was crazy busy with customers. But the next one, I definitely want to be involved in the next one. Do some co-promotion and things like that. And again, I'm gonna actually Like I got one podcast before this, got to get out and then get this out immediately before the day. That way people can see it and everything. And I will post up again ahead of time so people can see that, man. So, but for you, man, I kind of want to, because I don't ask people their age unless they want to say their age. I'm 40, you kind of dated yourself with the Civic reference there, and you started there. So I kind of just want to go back, man. So how did you get into what was your spark to get into cars and things like that, man?
So, spark to cars, honestly, okay, so I guess I'll start out with my age.
Yeah.
I was born in 91. I just had a birthday, so I think I'm 33 now, 32. 91, July 2nd.
Dude, we were just talking about it on the other podcast. Me and Lex was like, after like 25, you're like, I think I'm like 29.
That's what I'm stopped counting. Like I don't like I would just slide through. I didn't even party nothing. I was just like, I'm just chill.
Yeah.
Like don't talk to me about hold on. Like my dad called me, was like, so tell me how old you are. I was like, don't do that. But I mean, yeah, so I mean I got into cars, like literally every occupation I had growing up, I tried to do something around cars except for being a mechanic. Because I'm in Texas, like it's way too hot to try and be a mechanic over here. Like again, my hat's off to mechanics. But let's see, like the original Fast and Furious was a huge thing for me. Video games was a huge thing for me, like cruising the world. Like usually at every arcade I was on one of the car games. I think I had actually started playing the Initial D box, the simulator at an arcade before I even watched Initial D.
Oh yeah.
And I fell in love with that game, man. Like we were at the casinos over in not New Orleans, in whatever border town that is from Louisiana to Texas. My mom was out there gambling, and I was in the arcade just busting down. Like I had a 280Z, I think, in there, and I just like was jamming out. Like it's just trying to take out everybody. But I mean, like. And then it went to, you know, collecting as many of the import tuner magazines and all the like the Super Street magazines, dub edition, because those were only people with people of color on there. So I had to try and get as many dub edition magazines as well. Shout out to Miles Kovac, definitely one of my mentors for sure. And I mean, like since then it was like I got a job as valet, got a job at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Like I just kept in the car scene as much as I could. I think in LA, I mean, I was studying automotive design. So like I was literally out there like drawing cars, trying to design cars. I was actually originally, even before I went to LA for automotive design, I went to let me turn down my AC.
I wish I had AC over here. I got the windows open right now. It's actually hot here. It's hot in Misawa, Japan for like 3 weeks, and then after that it's cold again, man.
Turn fan down. That's the one. So I'm actually in my partner's shop. So,
okay.
So yeah, I'd be out there trying to do as much car things as possible. Before I went to automotive design school, I actually, like, I still remember being a student and going, like, asking my advisors, like, if I wanted to make cars, where do I need to be? What do I need to do? Because even sorry, I got ADD, so I'm I bounce around.
Dude, that's fine, brother.
So like even before that, like I was raised by a single mother, Vietnamese mother, and she had a little model car, the first Viper, a red Viper, and that was probably like the thing that kept me hooked on the cars. Because like it was the most beautiful looking car that I had seen. Like she would take me out. She actually had a factory manual SC300 over here, and she, unfortunately, I was only like 12 when she was trying to get rid of it, and I was like, Mom, please do not, please. Like, and I still remember begging her, and I still bug her about it. But yeah, she had that little model Viper, and I would tear up the walls with it. I put stickers all over it. I tried like markering on it. Like I wanted to do something with cars, and I didn't understand what design was because nobody told us what design was.
Right.
So like I'd go to art class and I'd try and draw cars, and they would be hideous, and they wouldn't know what to do with me and how to improve me. So I just kept asking, what do I have to do to make cars? And they told me, oh, you have to be an engineer. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try that. And I started trying to be an engineer, and the more and more I studied, the more and more I got into it. I was like, I hate this. This is the worst.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
it was the math, right?
I mean, it was math, and I'm pretty decent at math, right? But
Yeah.
as soon as I think it was calculus 2 and like physics 2 or something like that, I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like our test was one question, and it took us 3 hours.
Mm.
Like I was just like, I'm this isn't for me. Like I literally like this. I had disdain and disgust on my face looking at these problems, and I was like, this isn't right. So I went to another professor, and I was like, hey, if I wanted to make cars, where do I need to go? And they told me Art Center College of Design.
Right.
And it's like suppose like it's one of the most prestigious design schools in the world. And like it took me, I got rejected the first time, got in the second time. I started going to like the research and design, like Honda Research and Design America, like over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the like my first summer classes were. Like there were classes at Hyundai. There were classes like literally like at the headquarters of these big places in Southern California. So it was super awesome. All of our professors were designers in the field, and I got a much better understanding of what it's going to be, what it's going to take to start creating my own cars, creating my own body kits, and all that kinds of stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for that. Drift Hub eventually will have body kits and other things, but that's probably a good 3 or 4 years down the line. But we'll get
Roger
there.
that.
We're gonna make other parts first.
But the biggest thing, man, I want to, I extend to anybody who's doing anything, because you mentioned like you guys you don't want to do like maintenance stuff and stuff like that, and that's pretty much what I
Mm,
do. But I'm more of a specialist, and I build cars and stuff like that. But that's actually going to be, I've said it many times, 2 more years, 3 more years. It's going to be specifically like big level jobs,
yep.
man, and my own builds and selling them, because it's not that I don't want to deal with clients and customers, man, but it's a time thing. And pretty much the way I've stayed open over the years, it's essentially been like building like a car, and then selling it and making a good amount of a chunk of change, and then like reinvesting that and things like that. And it's more on my, so when I come in the shop, I'm not like, even though I'm on my own time schedule, I'm on my own thing, I still want to get a product out there to get paid, have the customer satisfied, and that's one of the things. No matter how you spend it, when you have a client, and everybody out there is a customer. It doesn't matter. Jeff Bezos is a customer of somebody or a
Yep.
client. So and all clients want their shit fast. They want it as fast as possible and the highest quality as possible. And then when you get in that thing, man, it doesn't matter how strong you are. I'm a combat vet, been to Iraq 3 times, survived a bunch of stuff. IED shot it and all that stuff like that, but it's not a stress. Like I'm not scared of the client, but it's like I want to get
Mm,
it done so I can work
yep.
on my 16 cars that don't run outside. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't touch those in good faith until I knock out that car, man. So that's what I'll be doing, man. But with Drift Hub and all that stuff, man. Kind of long story short, ADD a little bit, I guess too. But
Got you.
the I just want to like us to collab and stuff like that, and like so once you get the kits out, I want to put them on my site, and that's one thing I think
Heck
a
yeah.
lot of people, they want to have strings attached and things like that. Like, dude, like you're giving me your time right now to build my podcast. That's all I need. I'm good with that. So, I'll and it doesn't cost me anything to put them on a site. Is getting in more eyes and everything. And in the next event, I'll want to get involved with that, because I have kind of,
Please.
I got involved with like the e-drifting in Canada, and I paid like $600, and they just put like a little splash screen thing on there, and it yielded nothing, and they didn't really. So I
Mm,
was like, dude, I don't mind investing in something, but like if I'm going to invest in something, what I mean, it has to be is ROI. You know what I'm saying? And it's a
absolutely.
two-way street. So I kind of talked to the guy, and he's
100%.
like, yeah, man, we didn't promise. Like, I'm like, the splash, it was barely legible. You know what I mean? And I'm like, dude. So that was it with that, and I didn't re-up for that stuff and everything, but it wasn't that. But again, we will link up and collab on that stuff, man. So all right, so you got in the cars and everything and all that stuff by Initial D. So so drifting? When did drifting become like, this is what I want to do? Like, because everybody hits that point where they're like,
Man.
all right, so go ahead and elaborate on that, man.
That's sort of like it happened to me a couple times, and like even then I still didn't know like it was like full on drifting too,
Right.
right? Because like I had a full ride scholarship to play football at Idaho State University, and I
Nice.
was over there chilling, playing, like trying to do as much video gaming as possible.
Right. What position?
Um, I was defensive tackle,
Okay.
defensive nose, short yardage. I mean, everywhere I played both ways, and it's just kind of wild. But I
Nice.
played offensive guard, and then like a lot of short yardage, I was fullback.
Okay.
But like my high school, and shout out to my late coach Bradley. Actually, high school football coach, he just died this morning
Oh
from
man,
stage 4 skin cancer.
man.
Still like I don't think it's fully hit me yet, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's going to be a process. I'm still in denial. But I mean, I think out there it would this it's Idaho, so like the snow would come, and I took my truck out and started doing donuts in the parking lot, and just like my donuts got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was like, I wonder how fast I can go, and it just got faster and faster,
Yeah.
bigger circles all the way. Cops pulled up, hey, don't do that. All right, fine, whatever. And I was like, but this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I after I was quit football because it was a terrible program. There's a whole bunch of racism going on.
Mm,
It's Idaho. I mean, to be expected. And then I moved back down to Texas, where I was studying engineering still, UNT, University of North Texas. And one of my homies, like, this is back when we had mineral wells. Mineral wells is not there anymore. Lone Star Drifts used to all like be at mineral wells like 5, 6 times a year. There would be a
mm,
whole bunch of programs and grassroots events out there. Once that went away, Dallas just kind of went in hiatus, and there was just basically no drifting but street drifting. Uh, Essentially it's almost still like that, to be
mm.
completely honest. Like there's one sanctioning body out here that's hosting some drift events, which is pretty dope. But um, yeah, I went out there, like I saw a drift event, I was like, okay, let me just go. My homie Julian Ramirez from Slide Life, he lives down in Austin. He took me for a ride along. Okay, this is the craziest ride along I've like because I was just like the first time you go to a drift event, you just kind of mope around. You don't really say hi to nobody or whatever. But he grabbed me and pulled me into the car, and then we were the second or third car of like a 4 or 5 car tandem.
Mm.
And like people started spinning out left and right, and it was just complete mayhem, and there was rubber in my eyes and just all this craziness.
Yeah.
And I was like, yep, this is it.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Yeah.
know what this is, but I'm about it. Like, let's
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
I think like shortly after that, I picked up a 350Z, and like it was open diff and everything, and I was like, all right, I'm just send it anyways. And I still drifted with that, just clutch kicking it all the way through the corners over and over and over. But I mean, like, and since then, it's just been everything I can do to stay around drifting.
Yeah, man.
Everything I barely talk to a lot of the street racing homies anymore, or the drag racing homies, and like they're still around. I still love them to death, but it's still like
Yeah.
I'd rather drift. Like there's one thing to put as much money as I can to go straight, but like let me put a fraction of that and
Yeah.
then put it on somebody's door. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
100%. Yeah, and that's what it comes down to. Most guys that lead, because it's like drag your. It's one of those things like you can't really you gotta go cheap fast or fast reliable and all that stuff like that. It's like, bro, it's just being around it and going to the track every Friday and stuff like that. And it was now, I mean, now the gap is bridged because you got technology, you got the ball bearing turbos and things like that, and you got 4 cylinders
Yeah.
making tons of power. So yeah, it can do it. They can do it easier and stay together. But for me personally, is this drag is just kind of it's a lot more money. It's a lot more money to build a competitive top notch drag car. Take that same cash and you could build like a pretty much a FD Pro Am car or even a pro.
Mhm.
I mean a pro car. And I got my
3 or
reservations
4
on.
of them, to be honest.
I got my reservations on like well, I've said it a couple times because I mean I've been kind of away from competition for the last 5 years growing a business. Well, actually more than that, pro comps. And my thing is I was set back on Instagram and watched how things are going. And my theory, and I'm going to do this, man. I'm going to do more with less. I think I see a lot of people trying to buy the whole goddamn shelf, man. And then like they get on the track, they do one lap,
Yep.
smash the shit into a wall, never see him again, or they do one lap and then they blame the car for everything, except for them. And then even with the Sims, it's like the Sims. You get on the, it's like it's like a Settle, for example. I had a thing with a Settle because they put MSP on a game, which was my local track, which we put on R Factor with my guy Antu, and they pretty much copied it. And I'm like, hey man, I can give you a better version, blah blah blah. So for 3 years, I boycotted personally a Settle. Then I got over it, and then I was like, all right, the game is pretty cool, so let me play it. But with the Settle, for example, like, guys, it makes you set up your cars, dude. Like, you can't just grab a pack. Well, I guess you can grab a pack and drift them, decently, but the guys who got really good cars, they spit hours into those cars. So it's like it correlates to real life. Like you're not gonna, I don't care what wise fab you got, what coolers you got, like you know what I mean, stuff like that. Man, of course, go out there and buy the Pinku style PS01 TS coolers and everything. But the it doesn't matter what coolers you got, man. If your car's not set up properly, it's not gonna operate properly. And I think a lot of guys, man, especially young, like you're not. I would say younger. I'm talking about 21 and younger. A lot of these guys now on Instagram, one of my pet peeves is just they want everything immediately. Mm-hmm. They want immediate gratification and all that stuff like that. And that's my disconnect with a lot of guys now. And then also that's my reason why I definitely do not go to Cars and Coffee, because those guys are there. They got a 22-year-old with a GTR and he believes he knows everything under the sun. Mm. And then I'm like, oh, tell me about your Tesla system. Like, what is that? I'm like, that's the thing to make sure your car, have front wheel drive assistance, because it's a rear wheel drive car. And I'm like, I'm out of here, dude. I'm going back to my shop to work on shit. Like, I don't got time for this, man. So I hate to be that guy, man. But like when they start doing that, I try to be cool. I went to a couple, just to try to show face. Go to a couple events, and within like 10 minutes, man, I just overhear so much bullshit, dude. I'm like, dude, I'm out of here, bro. Like I don't, like I just don't have time for it. Like just like you, brother. Like the gaming stuff is like, we gotta have some extra stuff there. And then like kind of like well, you refer, like I actually was a walk on the University of Maryland. I played for the Terps for half a season. I walked on, and you got a scholarship. I was a walk on, and I felt like a fucking a live practice dummy is what I felt like. Yeah, when I was there.
Yeah.
So kind of similar.
Like that.
Yeah. So it's like
it definitely can be like that. So it's like another shout out to Brian Brazel. Like literally, when my freshman year in high school, our senior year won state championship, and like that, like right before. When our season was over, like we were the practice dummies for them. We get panel like just like we'd be going like 20%, and the dude was still like just completely just knocked me off my feet just to do it. And like, okay, well, that's cute. Whatever.
Yeah. How was your how was your in high school, man? How was you guys' like practice? Like how was your tempo? As far as like you guys like go hard on each other, or you're just pretty much light or stuff like that?
I think they would call it periods, right? Yeah. So like. It just depended on the period. Like we definitely switch it up and all that kinds of stuff. But they're usually like the Monday is just like kind of like getting back in the groove. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like several of the times it would be full speed, hit them as hard as you can. Just don't break their bones.
Yeah, except for nobody touches the quarterback though. You can't touch the quarterback. So that's the only guy that got the jersey on. It's a different color and everything. So and you're in Texas, correct? Or just make sure you okay. So Texas, man, like we were a 4A school. We won championships every year that I was there. We won the city championship every year. We would get to the regionals and like get obliterated by huge white boys, man. Like still kind of PTSD from that. My last game of high school, those dudes had what was it, man? They had roughly, well, we shut the pass down, but they beat us 50 something to like 7 all rushing yards. All rushing yards, dude. It was just like the dudes were just like college. They were like these dudes were like I'm like they felt like Rangers, dude, because these dudes were like 6'1". I mean, and the thing is, in the city, we towered over everybody. We beat everybody, the shit out of them, and then we get to like these regionals, man, and these guys are just on another level. Like they were just, they were another level, man. Like these guys all went college. Their linemen they literally just move our guys out the way, and their dudes just run all over the place, man. So to go from domination, like complete domination all year for 4 years straight, to just getting dominated in the regionals, it was cool because it set the precedence to like, hey man, that shitty thing saying there's always somebody out there bigger and better, and it's kind of like, it's like that shit hits you in the face like right away. But from there, man, I went, for me personally, I can get to the ball and everything. I started on varsity and stuff like that. I I played JV. And then did what they would do in my school, in all schools. For JV, all the guys who had some, they were pretty good in JV. They would bring them up in the end of the season every year. I'm not sure how it was for you guys at school, but I got brought up for the playoffs and everything. And pretty much I was with special teams. And then I became like the guy that I just hit people really hard, but I didn't care about staying after practice to go over tapes and shit like that. Like I didn't do that. I just wanted to play and hit people, and that's it. So as a result, I didn't get and then I wanted to play running back, man. But we was the if I would have played running back or fullback, I would have been like 6 or 7 on the depth chart, dude. Like it just wasn't happening, and so I kind of got pissed off a lot, and I kind of like I purposely shut myself down, and I didn't really do as much as I could. And in the game, I would kind of like come to life and hit people and all that stuff. And the coach was like, dude, why during the week you're like kind of like, I'm like, dude, because I don't fucking want to play defensive end. I don't want to play,
right.
Also linebacker was cool, but they would then put me in like a 3 position in the defensive end. And I was like, that's cool. I'm kind of like, a down linebacker. That's cool. But that's not what I wanted to do, man. So I kind of like, I kind of developed that stuff and everything. And then walking on to Maryland, man, it was not even like I got a scholarship there for academics. And when I went there, I'm like, the first year they said we couldn't play any varsity sports. So I was a captain lacrosse in high school as well. We won a bunch of championships there. And then I played intramurals. Intramural, they didn't have a rule for that. So I played, lacrosse. And then the guys like, hey, man, you should try out for the varsity team. I was like, nah, dude, I'm at Maryland. I'm going to play football. So Sherman Merriman was there, Brandon Davis, a few other dudes that made the pros and stuff like that. And, bro, like I'm a pretty strong dude. I was bigger than average. I never felt like a fucking boy, dude, like so much. Like they just, like Brandon Davis one time, I come off the line and, dude, I'm swimming. I'm doing everything, man. I'm trying to go under. And he just looking at me. And he like no shit looking at me in my eyes while I'm doing all this stuff. He went like this. He picked me up like this by my pads and put me down. He's like, good play, man, good play. I was like, this motherfucker, dude. I was like, bro,
don't manhandle me like that, man.
I'm 200. I'm 245 some pounds, but this dude, these guys walk around, man, and they're like 6'4", this straight chisel, dude. I'm like, this is a different level, bro. And I thought, I was. So I got my highlight of my whole thing was there was a dude named called Sammy Maldonado. He was the bull, they call him, because he's a halfback. He just runs through people. And I didn't, I know there was a thing with the walk-ons and stuff like that, and you got to do your thing and, pretty much be a bitch and be a live practice dummy. And they give you these stupid looks that I would never do that, but they want you to go there and stand. I'm like, dude, why would I wouldn't stand right there as a linebacker, so why would just stand right there so we could see how it'll look if they're right out of position. All that stuff I'm talking about. For the guys out there, giving a look is like you want to show a guy a good look, bad look, to show, give the guys an advantage and stuff out there. So they had me doing dumb shit. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to untrain myself to not go in that gap. I would never go in that gap as an inside linebacker. Why would I go always, So I was get frustrated, and the coach was like, hey, man, so you might not understand. We need you to do the wrong shit so we can see where we need to be at. So I was like, all right, man, whatever, dude. And they would talk shit to the walk-on guys and the new guys and doing special teams, man. Like one of the starters, they were telling us, hey, man, don't really rough up the starters and don't touch them, pretty much. But they would hit the shit out of us. So I'm like, fuck this, man. They hit my guy, man, and he comes back to the sideline moping and stuff like that. And I'm like, dude, I got you. So the next play, I knew the ball was they said who this is going to go to. The Sammy's going to take the ball and come up, right? So I already I got the advantage of knowing who's going to field the ball is Sammy Maldonado, the starting halfback. So I'm like, fuck this, dude. I look straight at him, dude. I didn't look at nobody else. I ran straight down the field, fucking right into him, dude. Collision. He fell. I fell because I hit him on an off foot, so I lost my balance. I jumped back up. He's on the ground, like he's out of breath. He's knocked him out of air. He's on the ground, and then I go back to the sideline. All the fucking starters are looking at me like, who the fuck's this guy? He just like knocked our fucking starting guy down, and then the coach, the special team coach, like under his breath was like, good shit, man. But he couldn't really be, because he's like, good shit. And then like after that, I got it talking to by the coach, like, hey man, you gotta, you can't. What if you would have hurt my guy and this and this? I'm like, well, fuck, dude. I was like, yeah, my bad, coach, my bad. And this is Coach Ralph Regent and everything. But it was cool, man, to be there for that experience. But again, I was a walk on, and long story short, my GPA dropped because I was a walk-on. I didn't have any tutors. Failed math two times. And my GPA dropped below 2.5, which is requesting to keep my scholarship and everything. So I was on academic probation, blah, blah, blah. I ended up leaving the team. Then the rest of that season, I got like just depressed, withdrew from the semester with excess for everything. Came back, tried again, and then I was like, I'm going to the military. I just was at my third year, and I was just kind of, I just was, I guess what it was, man, is me driving my broken 240 with broken brake lines, and then a freshman with a 745i BMW. I'm like, well, what am I working for? It's like this dude is a freshman with a brand new BMW, and I just seen, and nothing is college. You know, but for me, I just kind of, I was going to the Marines anyway, and I got my scholarship, and then I went to the Air Force and everything, and things kind of work. I'm here in Japan, man, 15 years, and you know, and I can still finish college. You know, I still got about, you know, I got a ton of credits and things like that. So not saying college is a bad thing, because I know you're at high school and everything, and I want to talk about that next. And I'll get off me, man. So actually, no, I've talked too long. Sorry about that, man.
No worries.
Because we've been buddies on Facebook a bunch, but it's our first time talking. So this is where it kind of the flow state. But as far as so, what was your journey to being a high school teacher, man? What was the process of becoming a high school teacher, and what did you have to go through to get to there, man?
So just off that football note, like being practice dummy. After that one time, he knocked me off my feet. Like after that, I was like, I'm popping them every time.
Yeah,
like coaches had to talk to me too, and I was like, dude. Well, they haven't faced anybody like me. Right. Everybody they're gonna go against is either strong as me or bigger than me. So they're just gonna have to take it.
Because that's like that, and it's like I understand. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you know, now I'm being more mature. I said now that my mindset now and back in high school, because I just would have like, I mean, I was a starter. I starter, so I mean, you got to be some kind of damn good. But I just didn't, the whole like extra, like I didn't kiss the coach's ass. I didn't stay after practice 5 hours to watch tape, because they were always saying the next practice, man, you know, this guy stayed after 2 hours, like this, because the guy doesn't have a home. He literally doesn't have a home. Like this guy, and the guy I'm speaking about, I won't say names, but the guy, he's in the streets, man. He got murdered, man. And because he was a great athlete, but when he leave that field, man, he just was in the streets. In Baltimore, it'll consume you, man. So it was a shitty situation, shitty story, a lot of potential loss and stuff like that. But he particularly stayed behind school a bunch to watch film, because he literally, and he knew the playbook inside out, man, inside out. He was telling this on the field would call a play, and the coach would say, coach wouldn't even challenge it because it was a touchdown. Like the dude was just that type of good, bro, and it was just, and we went at it a bunch, man. Because while he was good, man, he had these antics, and he would like, you know, do shit, and like he felt like he was more above everybody. Yeah, and that just didn't jive well with me. So we had a few incidents in practice and stuff like that, but you know, rest in peace to the guy, man. But unfortunately, man, the streets consumed him. But yeah, man, on that thing, man, football, for the guys that don't know, man, it's college ball it's man. Making it a lot of fun though. Yeah, it was, man.
It was something.
Yeah, seeing ESPN there. So I mean, it's kind of cool, man. I didn't know you played ball, man, and I don't really talk about my experience because I was a walk-on, and it's just like I don't want to, you know, I don't want to Al Bunny my walk-on experience. But
look, some of my closest friends from that team were walk-ons. Okay, like there's still like the heart and passion of walk-ons, and the opportunity for them is outstanding. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously, like you said, it's way more difficult, and it's like I'm like, just to even walk on is still it's such a move. Like it's such a bold move.
It was one thing kind of to one up that I was the only guy on the whole team not All American. The only guy. I'm talking about every walk on was All American. Like I was the only guy on the entire team that wasn't All American, man. So they were like, I pretty much made the team off of this athleticism and strength, because I did the little combine. And they got Coach Galt. I never forget his name, man. Prior Marine. He was like, pick that up, just until you're done. Pick that up, jump. And now he's like, all right, cool. Just show up on Monday. I'm like, that's it. Like that's how it literally was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. He said, come to the field house at this time. I got there about 20 minutes early because I wanted to be on time. They were in there doing summer. They were in the last week of the tour days, and they were running up the steps and all that stuff like that, going to gym, blah blah blah, all that stuff like that. I actually missed it. I was like, shit. I kind of was like, dude, because it was hot as shit, and they run up the stadium steps. So I was like, kind of glad I missed that. But and then like I show up on Monday. I get a jersey, I get a locker. close to the laundry room. And then I got moved up and everything. But it's just like, dude, it was just surreal to be there and see ESPN walking around the locker room. And then on game day, you got all the TVs on and everything. And it's like, I didn't think dudes would be watching games while they're getting ready for a game. And it was just surreal, dude, to be there and like, experience that. And, but at the same time, it was a reality check. It was like, dude, you're good. But it's just like, there's always people out there that are just as good as you, strong or better. And that's one thing now with my shop, man. I people say I'm paranoid because I kind of like keep my circle close and things like that. I was like, dude, it's competition, dude, and I don't mind it. So here in Japan,
that's not paranoia.
Yeah, well, it's just like leaning, like kind of like when other shops react, or I get iced by other shops when before there was no problem. But now being 7 years into my shop, I'm making my own wheels. I got my own dyno, got my own suspension. They're getting, it's a threat, and I'm a gaijin. I'm only one of two gaijin in entire Japan, and the other guy is one in gaijin because Bill at B&M he's done with it. But my guy Seth down in one in gaijin. So it's kind of like a thing where before it was cute, but now that I've been around now 7 years, going on 8 years, now I'm a threat. So now these dudes don't want to talk to you. I'm like, hey man, I'm fine with it, bro. Like that's not gonna. I'm gonna actually, now that I know I'm threatening you, I'm just gonna pile on, and that's where that football stuff comes back in there, and the like the coach say, man, don't move, don't stop moving your feet, keep driving. That little shit like that. When I'm pushing the car around a lot by myself, it's like I'm thinking about fucking August 15th where we got to keep pushing that car and like don't fucking stop your feet. You know about that shit. So you keep your feet moving, and the other guy stops, and you knock him off his feet. So I apply that daily, and that's why this whole operation for me is all alone, man. I don't have any. I got an assistant, but he only comes in when I need, like, for safety a second person. But it's not. It's like once or twice a month, something like that. But yeah, man. The people ask me how do I run this by myself. I'm like, dude, it's just coming from Baltimore, playing football, playing varsity stuff,
tough.
Combat. And all that stuff, man. So kind of all that stuff, man.
It's like good help is hard to find. Like when this comes to like your name, your brand, your image, like the chance for a vehicle to come back, or like who's gonna cover that cost, and like all that kinds of stuff. And it's just like it's the domino effect. When every job can be a domino effect. Yeah. And it's like, and how do you mitigate that challenge? And it's just just started working at us, and it was like, why are we like we're trying to fight all this? I'm trying to manage like 2 or 3 techs, like, and then it's just like, why are we not out of track? Like, that's the whole point of us doing all this is so we could go drifting, and we're not drifting. We're skipping drift events so we can try and work. Yeah, and I was just like,
and 100%, man.
No, like I was like, we got to change. We got to do something else. So that's why we're at where we're at now. Yeah, and
that's, I mean, and even people think they get into a position where like they've got everything. I got my life figured out, but at the same time, I have to hear the same words from you, man. It's like it's honestly what you're saying is 100% what I'm kind of going through right now. Whereas I don't watch drift events because it makes my blood boil because I'm not there, and I don't watch FD. I don't. It's because I got cars out here that people like literally outside right now that people were like, there's dream cars of people and I own them. But they're like, I got a LS going in this one. I got a 1UZ going in this one. But it's like everything's here, but I just don't have the time between, business, taxes, because that's what people don't. They don't fact. They just think all the end product, like, bro. It's the fucking paperwork that has you there 4 hours after work. It's the accounting. If you're running a legit business, the accounting, the paperwork, the taxes, and then being that for me, I'm in Japan.
Marketing, the promoting,
all that shit,
all
dude.
The other stuff,
all that stuff, man. And then like so when people hit you up, hey man, when you got any free time, I shut that shit down immediately, and I try to be approachable to people, but I'm like, I never have free time, and I tell guys that bluntly, directly, and like I never have free time. Like if I'm free, it's not free time. I'm with my kids.
So I carved it out for my family. I carved it out for a purpose. 100%. Like, otherwise, I'm working.
Yeah, 100%. So I got my boys riding bikes now, so it's like, what I mean, it's and it's just it's one of those things where I choose words carefully because I don't want to, I'm still a normal guy, and that's why I think guys kind of, because I don't act like even though I got a business going to international, I don't act. I'm still talk normal to people. I don't talk down to people, so it makes me comfortable, and then they feel like, oh man, I could have stopped by. I'm like, no, you can't, dude. And then when it gets to that, it turns the conversation from comfortable to like business because it'll switch quickly. I'm like, no, you can't just drop in. You got to have an appointment. And then they'll be like, we were just having a cool conversation, and then you just went bipolar on me. I'm like, because now you're trying to merge, and I don't allow it. It's business is business. Yep. And when I go at the track and we're hanging out, I'll give you a few tips, but at the same time, I don't advise, because if I advise you on how to install your pistons and you put them in backwards and you smash your oil squirters, you're going to say, I told you to do that. So I don't, I draw the line really quickly on that and stuff like that. But I will say, man, have you seen some of the live Hoon stuff I've been posting about?
Yes.
So I'll get with you offline. I got something for you on that, man. So cool.
I've been wanting to see.
Yeah,
I got try it.
I got something for you, man. I got something for you, man.
Thank you.
Got something for you, man.
Look, if we got to put together a little show just to have like an unveiling or whatever else, I'm down.
I got some. We'll speak offline about that one. So I got something for you tonight, man. So you will be watching the movie in the next 24 hours. I'll just say that. So. I got some stuff working and everything, man. So yeah, man, all that stuff. And speaking of that, man, so we just brought it up, man. So live home, because I like. All right, so the guys watching it, we're car guys. We now know we're fellow collegiate football players and stuff like that. It's just I like to get to know people, and my thing for the guys who meet me for the first time, man, I don't talk to. It's unhealthy. I know it, but I'm in my shop roughly 8-9 hours a day, and it's just me and podcasts on in the background. I don't talk to people, so that's just like when the podcast kind of digress, man. So if you guys don't know, right here, just in the background, we just talking about Live Hoon, man. So naturally, you've seen the stuff like that and seen the posting. So July 12th, the DVD will be coming out. Pinku style will be. I'm learning how to work with Hollywood, so I said I will be the sole provider. Which there's a thing where they can't directly sell to an American, but essentially I'm gonna handle all international sales for Live Hoon. So it's pretty cool.
Heck yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll be doing that for the company. They'll have Amazon set up and everything for the guys who want to use Amazon, but I'll be buying a bunch of DVDs, and then I'll be having them here for the guys who want to buy local Blu-ray. And then everything started from this Live Hoon stuff from one message after I watched the movie. I was the first American to see it. And then now to be like part of like the production company, and like, it's kind of cool, dude. Like it's kind of, and again, another surreal thing. And then with that is just, I tell guys there, man, I just put in the work. The guys seen my YouTube and seeing that I was a drifter and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, pro level, whatever. And he was like, yeah, man, like let's work. So I got the movie played on bass twice, and
nice.
made some stuff happen. And then I will give you a lot of respect, man. I am not an event coordinator. Dude, even if you make a small event, you will be working, bro. Like, you will be doing everything, flyers and all the shit you think you're just going to make a date and show up. Like, it's not like that. And I thought I was just going to show up and, like, bro. Dude.
Yeah.
Much respect, man.
Marketing, oh my gosh, promotional, like I study design, right? But it's like I do way more graphic design than I do a lot of automotive design. Like all the flyers for this I've made our Drift Hub logo and all the different variations of all the shirts. I'm also helping out with several other companies nearby, making their logos and helping them out with their promotions and startups. I mean, I'm a naturally creative person.
Yeah.
And
which is a gift and a curse.
Yeah. Absolutely. So like it means that I'm always busy, but it also means that I'm also usually underpaid. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm so excited for Live Hoon. Like, I'm super proud that you're a part of that. Like, trust me, a lot of us have been trying. They're like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be on Disney Plus. I was like, no, it's not. Like, I keep looking. Yeah. No, I keep looking for it. So I mean, y'all watching this podcast, look. Just wait, okay? He's coming. All right, pay attention. Yeah, pay attention.
Yeah, so
stay up with Donald Jackson.
Yeah, the DVD,
you're gonna get it.
Yeah, the DVD. Like I say, DVD comes out. DVD Blu-ray launches on July 12th, which is like next Today is 6 days from now.
Yeah, it's
in Japan.
Less
so
than a week.
Yeah, less than a week. So, and it's been the thing is, it's been a learning process, man, because I had to even this process, man. I always try to use things as a growing thing, because I never want to see like I'm at my final stage, because even at 40 years old. Having a company here, I will say, I was kind of going back a little bit before I get on this, going back to like the threat stuff. At 7 years in, dude, there's no shop in Japan that had the stuff I got currently, and it has done the things I've done. And that's like, they like, how the fuck's this gaijin in my company doing, in my country? they're doing things that I didn't do to year 15, and it's because, hey man, like I don't sleep and I don't, which is unhealthy. I'm trying to work on that, and I utilize connections in Japanese. While it's this facade. Being in Japan, dude, I'm totally jaded by it, but once you hear, you got boots on ground. It's harder to build a car here than it is in America. Believe it or not, harder.
Oh,
They're not very resourceful. They're very close minded, and they just started like 5 years ago reaching out outside of Japan. So you see a lot of guys with Wise Fab, and you see a lot of guys with swap kits, and like they're figuring I can get this angle kit or whatever, blah blah blah, for this much money versus in Japan when they mark HKS and they mark everything up 300%. It's like, why? Quality is quality. And me personally, I'm like, man, I'm in Australia, New Zealand, UK. I get 98% of my stuff comes from outside Japan that I install on customer cars, because I just refuse to wait 7 months, for the same product just to have the name Tomei, and it doesn't. We all know this in the industry where stuff comes from now, so it's like, let's be real, man. Like,
and we love all those brands too.
Yeah,
but it's also
100%.
like my dollar doesn't go that far. Okay,
yeah. If I can get the same product for $600 cheaper, quality, and it just doesn't have Taniguchi or Tsuchiya holding it, like, I'm gonna take that, man. So me personally, it's like, if it works, it works. So my bad, got airplanes taking off right there and everything. But
I've seen that, like, sometimes that some of these Japanese companies are like loyal to a fault too, and it's like I love how they want to like rely on each other and build with each other.
Right.
Like, that is admirable completely.
Right.
But it's also like hold on, there's so many other people that also want a slice, or to want to help,
Right.
or to want to contribute, or want to build.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're only building like one or two other people, and it's like, no, like I like, me personally, I want to try and help the entire DFW community as the whole drift scene as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, that's also why, like, one of our sponsors, Tropical Glitz, like they're giving us 10% off of their paint, and it's like that they're more known in the lowrider circles, in the hot rod circles.
Right.
But it's like, Texas scene is like, we're known for getting rowdy and partying, and like almost all of our cars look like quote unquote missile cars. Like, all of them are 7 colors. And it's like, we need to change that. Like, I want to elevate the entire drift scene in the whole thing, because like they got the animal style guy,
everything. Yeah, it's not bad, man. 53 minutes in, we got our first drop, so not good. So you were talking about animals. That's all good. If it happens, like I'll edit that stuff out. So you were talking about animal style.
Yeah, so like animal style, there's so much style that goes on in America, and we had, of course, in Texas we admire that, but we also see where like they're not driving 100%. And it's like, for me, like, if the driving can be 100% and the style can be 100%, that's where I'd like to be.
Like I the guys, Force Wing, like, it was kind of cool when he came back. It's like it's like nobody really, like, all right, whatever, dude. We already know all those guys that are sick, man, but like, they have a car that's dope looking, not 4x4, and the guy stretch. It's like, you put all that stuff together, man, and like, and with that, I don't know why people feel like, I'm in Japan and it's like this. The internet's international. I can see it. I can bring it up. I can see it, and I got like, when I say buddies, they're online buddies, man. That they post up. I'm like, bro, the stuff that you post and what you're saying, like, hey man, you can't come here unless your car's got a lightning bolt, livery on it like everybody else, and fully painted with 3-piece wheels, and they have to be VSKFs. And you got to have the Hoonigan logo in there and stuff like that. Like, they making it like you're pretty much doing with whatever, you're treating your own community how everybody else treats the whole community. Where it's pretty much like, these guys drifting, like, you can't come sign your car for autocross because you're going to slide your 240. Like, I got ridiculed for that, even though I didn't do it on purpose. They were just like, well, hey man, we said you can't slide here, and this is before events were, this is back in like 07, 06, stuff like that, before events became known. So I was the only 240 there, and people like, oh, you're one of those drifters, dude, drifter guys and everything. So that whole thing, like, yeah, if you want to have a clean car with 3-piece and blah 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 and all that stuff, be in sports and do that, man. But like, you shouldn't. I wouldn't even sign up for the event like that. I wouldn't even support that. And not saying, it's just, I don't like that type of attitude, man. Like, I mean, if you can afford to have, it's cool. But like you said, you'll watch it, and I see a couple of videos, and like, this shit is boring, because they're like they're driving, they're drifting, but they're they're so worried about scratching that goddamn paint. It's like
Yep.
you're not going hard. You're going like 75%, and then that from even if you're going 110% from a spectator after the first couple of laps, you're like, all right, well this shit's kind of boring because you don't understand what's going on in the car. So, you know, to have guys in these nice cars going slow, methodical drifting, you know, 10 feet from each other, it's just kind of, it's just, So I fully feel you on that. So my thing is
like, why is there all constantly 2 or 3 car lengths in between y'all?
Yeah, like I can run
it.
I can run figure it.
like it's one thing to be slow, but it's another thing. It's like, look, like drive the car. Like you really bought it just to like kind of slide. Like
I have no
like
it
like all the people that we love watching online is like they are door to door. Like that's what we like to see. Like that's what we like to be in. That's what we like to ride along in. Like we in there like high-fiving the other driver. Yeah. That's the fun part. That's where it's like all my endorphins, all the dopamine it hits me.
Yeah. It is a people who haven't been in a train, when I'm talking about a drift train, not other trains out there, but people haven't been in it's like
not the other ones.
Yeah, not the other
We're not
ones.
talking about
it's like the gangbangs, but dude, like being in between cars, like at a BSU, my favorite course is Nishi Short. The for Matsuri is just like, man, it's because at a BSU or drifting period in Japan, like you'll see like Japan operates in groups 3, 4, 5 guys. And they only drift together, so they do not drift with anybody else. And it's kind of like they want to make sure they drift on people who know how to drift, stuff like that. And it's kind of annoying. So when you get around guys, they put their hazards on and stuff like that. So I've done like some bozo shit and drifted around people and, you know, done some stuff that like, dude, you're wasting my time. So, but you go to Nishi Short, that's the only place where it's known that you're going to go door to door with people. Like you don't get on that course unless you're ready for it and everything. So bring up a little video for the guys. Yep. You've seen Nishi Short, correct?
Yes, I'm terrible with names, putting things, but I'm pretty sure I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, so BC
that's the one where they hit the wall up top and then they do crazy backwards entry all the way to that left.
No, that's North course. That's Kid the course and everything. So which com is say BC Nishi Short. Yeah, it's like I literally go to Matsuri just for the track, man. I got a bunch of videos as well, but I'll just bring up the first ones that I see right there. But Nishi Short,
so
man.
Bad with names. That's my weakness right there.
So Nishi, so we got little Japanese lesson. Nishi is west, Kita is north, Higashi is east, and Manami is south. So that's what Manami means. Manami is south course and everything. So of course, Adam LZ's first video to pop up. So let's get to it a little bit. So this is Nishi.
Adam LZ did outstanding in FP.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that was pretty cool, man. Cool. So now right here. So I'm actually to bring up the so you guys can see it. I'm seeing as I bring it up. But the Nishi Short is essentially it's like you come down a hill, you go over a hill, blind crest down, and man, it's like it's straight up. I'm seeing they got some in-car footage. Doesn't look cool on Nishi, so you probably got more in-car. They got one right there was little. But that's better view. So and also they added that bank there not too long ago. There's like a little bank there. But anyway, you go around Nishi, you kind of go down there. I'll run in the background so you guys can see. But Nishi is a cool course. Like when it gets violent, we're all drifting back here. We're it's just mayhem, dude. It's just like 8, 10, 9 cars in a row. And you want to start drifting before you get to it looks flat here, but you can't see over that hill. So you don't know what's over that hill when you go sideways. Just somebody spun out backwards.
Yes. And
it's this euphoria when you get locked in a tandem right here and you're just you're like this.
Right there.
And you don't even know the fucking guy. You guys just became best friends. And so I met 5 guys that I talk to regularly from Nishi that never met before. And after the things, oh man, Sugoi for being that close, and the guy hit me a little bit. I was like, man, fuck that, man, we cool. And like, I met a guy in a crash, and he was like, oh, I'll talk to you in the pits and everything. I bought an S14 from him like 2 weeks ago. It's just, bro, it's just like I love it because it's the one time when nobody gives a fuck, and you're just going. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you don't want to have contact. Don't go to Nishi, man. Like you don't want to have full contact. It's no horse bar, and it's kind of weird because everybody will be close together. But then like when somebody spins, it's like weird how everybody does have enough time to kind of screw up speed and. But you do see some T-bones. But here, this is about I would say about 120 yards long till you get to this one right here. But dudes will mind you the whole thing, or just like fucking fourth gear straight drift here, go up the hill, and this again video does no justice because you can't see the camber, and it's crazy, man. This is crazy.
So, have you played Torque Drift at all, or played the F Formula Torque Drift?
Yeah.
I've competed in their series, their esports series, and I've put in at least 300 laps on this place, on this layout right here.
Yeah, you got to do so the board is open, man. So the I tell everybody, man, when you get a chance to come over, man, definitely I can wrangle up some cars and borrow some cars, man, and do all that stuff. So I tried the rental thing for a little bit, but I kind of
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah,
I don't even know what I don't know yet. I just know I'm excited to figure it out.
Yeah, but no, man, I got some. I'm looking to get a few more. I kind of want to do it, but I'll have tiers. I'll have like you got experience, cool. You can drive this car. You can drive this car. Like it's just like I I had a guy yesterday, Mark say, I'm like, dude, that was like push it, dude. Like I care about the car, but if you what I mean, whatever, dude. Life's short. So let's go out there and everything. But yeah, I attempted it and I was like, it's too much. The guy runs into a wall in the first lap, then now the car's fucked and this and this and blah blah blah. But yeah, as you can see right here, it's just like, hey man, you going or not? So like, with this lead guy. Yeah, so
this is what I'm looking for in a nice in a fully kitted car. Like this is what I'm looking for. Like I'm all about the toxic tank.
Bro, it's
like
just
online. Like that's literally like not giving people enough room to transition.
Yeah,
that's how we like to drive.
Yeah. So like it's just you will catch the guys that come here that try to do that little group thing and they get the fuck out of there quick. Cause it's like, dude, we're gonna get all in the middle of your shit, dude. Like if your guy leaves a gap right there, I'm gonna slide into that gap, and like it's just pure chaos, dude. Pure chaos right here, man. And I've seen it where it's been so many cars that it's just a complete train the whole time, like almost like non-stop cars slide, like 20 cars.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, until one guy in the front spins out, and then like you get that little sideways sandwich and everything. So but no, man, it's definitely like I said, the doors open. That's when the guys overheat. They pull over right there. Like I gotta cool the fuck down. You should keep going, not stop. But yeah, man, it's definitely cool over here. I will say, in Japan, like I said, I was just at the track yesterday. We are fortunate where 7 days a week you can go do anything anywhere pretty much. From where I sit right there, I got MSP, which is drift land on Seto. The MSP is about 45 minutes from where I sit, and then I got another track about 25 minutes. It's a big skid pad rally course, and then we got a full course ASP, but it's only grip, no drifting. Man, and that's about an hour. So
I wish I was that close to some places. I'm not close to a drag strip. I'm that close to like, super high mile, like super fast courses. Like that's all we really have around here.
So
all the go-kart people around here are too afraid of drifters and stuff to even.
Do they won't even consider like a little small demo so they can see what it looks like?
We're still gonna flirt with them, but like the other people have gotten to karting places with their demos, and like it would rain or something, and then all of a sudden it would just go to shit. Like with all the time attack guys, like they'd have the little time markers on the track or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that rain hit, and they slid right through all those markers, causing thousands of dollars worth of damage. Yeah. So like we have to be super careful about it. Like there's one track in Houston. Shout out to Knuckle Up down there. They basically they have a whole two go-kart tracks over there, and they would only let drifters drift 4 corners of one track.
Wow.
Until they warmed up to us actually doing more stuff. And like there's a go-kart track over here near us that we are gonna try to get in with, but it's just like, drifters just left a bad taste in their mouths previously, so we're gonna have to do some higher dollar demo event. But I mean, we'll see if we can do that. We're still we got to start rubbing shoulders. We got to start doing what we can. I mean, just like I reached out to you, I'm gonna keep reaching out to people, reach out to
Yeah, man.
everybody,
Yeah, man.
and
Again,
start
my
changing.
apologies, man. It took so long for us to link up, man.
No
It was
worries,
just
man.
like I was like, man. I looked at my calendar. Shit, man. This event is like this weekend, so let's again. Then like it's so 4th of July and everything. So
Yeah.
it was. 'Cause so actually yesterday I was at the track. Doing a promo for my new I got N2 coilovers that I just released and everything. So and dude,
Nice.
all right, let me I didn't. It's probably the first time I'm talking about this publicly, man. With Japan, because a lot of people like that they're not from. Well, take that back. I had Jonathan Hurst on. I had Joshua Love on, Power, and a few other guys from FD. And one thing I noticed, man, is like they don't they're all their drift thing came from America. Like when I mentioned some names, they didn't know Arito, they didn't know Taniguchi. Like those are the guys that when we started, like that's who we were like, oh man, you see Taniguchi or we see
Yeah.
Ueda or we see like and
Yokoi, man.
yeah, all these guys,
Yokoi.
yeah. So like, well, Yokoi's like kind of more. So like those guys,
Yeah.
like they more because Yokoi was when they were young,
Mm.
he was like kind of like coming up and everything. So they was like, yeah, dude. They was like, yeah, I didn't watch option and stuff like that, like how we did. Because like that's what we out initial option, best motoring, stuff like that. And it's
that's the other source that helped me stay in the drifting. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
like
that's
the
okay.
magazines. Get that magazine, get that DVD, bro.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I dropped that in so quick, bro. I'd fall asleep to that thing, man.
Yeah.
Like then it was on YouTube. I was like, what? Like let's go.
I'm actually
Sorry.
I'm actually in the process. I got a bunch of DVD like videotapes right now, encoding to digital and everything, and put all that stuff and everything. But yeah, man, it's just kind of it's kind of crazy that like those guys didn't really get into their drifting again. Was like Sammy Hubernett and Reese Millen and all that stuff like that. And even those guys are probably a little bit too like modern, so they probably like James Dean age. Like that's when they start becoming coherent. So it's kind of crazy to see how that thing goes. But as far as in Japan, they're very very stay in your place type of thing and stuff like that and everything. I was trying to show my Nishi, but whatever, guys, you see it, drift from my series, stuff like that. But they're very kind of like they're very reserved. They're very like they ultra humble, stuff like that. And I kind of had a situation where I got not banned but like shadow banned a little bit from this one group because I took my suspension there to promote it, and then I put a video up of me like running around all the cars, and this was my suspension brand and everything, running around BC and TN and RSR and all the brands out there, right? So they didn't like that. So the guy, when I went to go sign up for the next event, he said, "Oh, you don't understand Japanese." This is my 4th time doing the event, by the way. And so the guy had an issue with that. And Japanese are very high schoolish, man. Like I'm talking about from ages high school till 85. Like there's beef between Tsuchiya and this guy, and then this guy and this guy, and this team and this team. Like they're very cliquish, man. So like Team Orange don't like this team, and this team don't like that team. Like people don't really, but they do good about not putting it out there, so you never know. But I just like to let people know that, because people will be watching this video and they're gonna be shocked to hear stuff like this. Not naming names, but it's like that. And then like now to have my company, now I'm experiencing that same kind of like people just don't like you because you're successful.
You competing now?
Yeah,
like,
so it's
hey, this is my turf. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, man. So
no, that's my guy. I've been trying to get him on my stuff for forever.
Yeah, man. So they got all that stuff there. Then I just dropped my wheels. So I got my wheels out, and then like it was kind of for me, I don't. Facebook is an extension of life. Like it's not like I don't go in there and be fake and stuff like that. But it is kind of like when you see people that and like what I mean, it's like you put out a product, and then it was like this. It was like it is quality stuff, right? But then like because it's not, I got a bunch of like I go up there, I go through the likes, right, and like I know my guys were sponsored by Inky and sponsored by Works and sponsored by this. They don't even touch it because it's just like they don't even want to show that it's kind of like, and they're not really like friends, but I had some friends that be like they don't even. It's like, hey man, I'm not asking you to do that, but it kind of shows me where you're at and everything, and it's just like, hey man, if dropping a like, or hey man, that's cool on my wheels that I designed and spent my money to design and make my own and make my mark essentially. It's just like they can't support it. I was like, hey man, if I don't sell a single wheel, I got my own wheels, I got my own suspension. I got my own brake kit. That's cool, man. And then those same guys go out there and drop like $8,000 in a Cosma kit because there's no connection. And then it's Cosma's son. And me and Cosma are friends, so there's no beef there. But it's just like it's wild. And then I get guys trying to like, hey man, they want to Jew me down for my stuff, and then go spend $5,000 on XYZ. It's like, dude, when I see that, and it's just like I know you got you like you mentioned, like you know it's jokingly underpaid and stuff like that, and people want to Jew you down on your prices, and then like they'll go spend the more to some guy they don't know just because it's just like, I guess, giving money to somebody that you know is something about it. I don't know what it is. I don't have a problem with it. I prefer to give my money to you for a body kit versus to yours, which I have no connection with, and I've heard a lot of bad stories about. You know what I'm saying, about how they deal with people and things like that from notable people in the industry. So you're in the industry, man, and you know you met people. I've had FD guys in my inbox, and you know, trying to get stuff. I had Hoonigan members in my inbox trying to get stuff. I'm like, no, it don't work like that. I've had lead texts in my inbox, like, you got to email at pinkustyle.com. You got to submit this form, and then they AWOL because they're expecting to get that. My guy just won the round last week. I don't fucking care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. This is the procedure. So I've pissed off a lot of guys notable in America, man. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, it happens. You know, like some people. I mean, like, I definitely try to strive to have an inviting. I mean, especially, you know, being black in America, I try not to have a certain persona or whatever they want to say about us or me or whatever, and it's just like, look, like, no matter what, I still want to be the source of the good time and the smiles and laughs. So it's like, no matter what, like, that's why we are doing what we're doing, is like, we want to be able to provide the party and provide the good times. It's like, if they're having problems with somebody else, I'm gonna hand both of them a beer.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
100%.
Get on beer pong.
That's it. And that stuff like that, like right there, man. It's like, you know, that's where, for me, I don't carry that around, man. Like, I have an issue with somebody. I don't know what it is, been for Baltimore, sports, whatever. You know, and I will say, man, you mentioned your coach, man. Again, I'm sorry to hear you passed away, man. But I'm pretty sure, like, people don't understand. Even if you got a dad in your life, man, you spend so much time around your coaches, man. They become like your fathers and everything. And from Baltimore, that was a big thing because Baltimore City, there's a lot of kids, a lot of guys. I knew my father, but we didn't live together. So you're getting coached, and they give you like the, you know, hey man, you know, this is football, but it was bigger than that, man. It was like a lot. It was life coaching, like, you know, a lot of the stuff. I hit up my coach, my lacrosse coach, ran like, hey man, thanks for the words, because I was kind of like, even though I was good, I was getting like that I deserve shit attitude. And he's like, you don't deserve shit, you know, you don't deserve anything, and like that's something your coach will kind of ground people, man, and like bring you back down to earth and say, hey man, no, you still got to work. You scored 7 touchdowns this game. What about next week? What about a week after that? Like, it's all, and that's where this business stuff, I don't get hooked up on, like, I just built this nice ass R34 GTR and won everything. I can't. Okay, what's next? No. Great, but what's next? And that's the biggest thing about all facets in life. And I think sports, you know, is a big thing for that and stuff like that. But yeah, man, overall, man, you know, again, with the whole drama stuff, I nip it in the bud. I say what I got to say, and like it or not, I move on, and I get back to like being, you know, cool and not being stressed out about stupid stuff, man, because I just want to have, you know, my type of fun and meet cool people, man, and that's it. And then, like, so I got people who around here in Masawa, man, where they want to, you know, dictate your time, and I don't allow that and stuff like that. And then I got a group of guys that'll be like, hey, man, like, I respect him. I emailed him, and he's a cool guy. And then another group of guys like, oh, man, he's mean. He's a jerk. He's this. And like, because you were disrespectful, and this guy wasn't. And I don't, you know, as long as you're respectful, man, because we're great. But the minute you want to talk down and stuff like that, and have this like Burger King type of attitude where you have it your way or whatever the fuck Burger King's logo is, not here, dude. Like, you don't bring your own meat to Burger King for them to cook it. They cook the meat for you. So don't bring me a bunch of old oily ass parts and want me to install them, like, you know, dude. So
that was a huge problem.
I killed that shit. I entertained it.
Like, oh my god!
I entertained it, man, and I got burnt by it one time, and I was like, nope. And it happened in the first like 6 months, and I was like, nope, new parts only. And then I instituted a recent one where I'm not, because some guys I don't utilize credit card. Some guys want to utilize points, and I was hardcore in it before. I'm like, all right, man, whatever it is, let them buy the fucking HKS kit on their credit card. and they buy it, and and then I'm like, all right, I still got to inspect it to make sure this is legit, because just because it says HKH, it could be a fake. Tomei and stuff like that has fake parts out there. And
Yeah.
I've turned away parts. I've like, yeah, that blow off valve, that Greddy is fake. I'm not installing it. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is a real one. Hold it. This is your fake one. Hold it. You can feel how the metal difference.
Yeah.
So I got parts just sitting around like that. I'm like, yeah, they're not installed. So dudes get mad at me because I refuse to install shit. I'm not installing the rear main seal from Amazon. It
Mm.
has to be from Subaru, the direct dimensions,
Mm.
because that shit could be like 66.1 millimeters, and that one on Amazon is like 1.5, and that means oil is gonna
Yep.
leak through there now. So, no, dude, I'm not installing that. And it was the same price. It was actually cheaper on to buy from Subaru. So I kind of, I felt when I go home and I sit in the bathtub at night on a toilet, I'm like, man, maybe I was too hard. And I'm like, no, I wasn't, man. So because that shit's gonna come back to haunt me. And every time I went against my policies, it's always kicked my ass, dude.
Mm.
Every time, dude. So, but yeah, man, for you guys, man, in your shop, man, like your shop, man, how did it form, and then like how long did you guys actually go until you decided to switch over to Drift Hub?
So I guess that's also ties into how I ended up being a teacher too. That you
Mm,
asked me that earlier.
mm,
So I didn't get onto all that. But so my partner, he is an engineer,
mm-hmm.
and he wanted to have his own shops, and like try to have, try and have that be the main thing, so we can just focus on the cars and get onto the track, of course, and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. It was called Candid Automotive then,
Okay.
and I designed the logo for that one. And I was still in design school. I was a senior then, and then he wanted to transition into just doing drift cars. He's like, basically all the work that he's taking is
Gotcha.
mainly drift cars, and he wanted to get away from some of the daily maintenance stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so like, what do you think the new name's gonna be? Like, what is it? And then started leaning towards Drift Hub. So, um, and so I made the logo for him at that time, and then I was literally just about to graduate, because Art Center College of Design, like, it's art at the end of the day, but I got a Bachelor's of Science degree,
Mm.
but they they're at the very end. Unfortunately, I graduated spring of 2020.
Okay.
So that is basically, we were told, what was it, the
And
end of that
this is
February?
you graduated from college, or
Yeah, college, from Art
okay.
Center College of Design. So like, right when I was supposed to have my grad show, COVID started
Mm.
and everything shut down. We weren't even allowed onto campus anymore. So like, we were in there doing clay models and all those kinds of stuff. We had big CNC mills that we were like, cutting things out on, all cut off. We ain't doing it.
Man.
So it was like, I didn't have my grad show. There's usually an industry night. So like, the people from all over the place are supposed to come and like try and handpick students right out of there. Didn't happen. I was looking on all these people's sites, emailing everybody, emailing all the teachers, and I was just like, hey, like, I just graduated, I'm an automotive designer. I mean, like, I wasn't the best one, I was probably, mid-tier,
Right.
about, so I was just like, okay. So I mean, like, I'm just gonna do what I can. Kept applying, nothing turned up. I kept calling. Everybody's like, no, we're just not hiring with COVID. We just don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know
Right.
if design centers are gonna get shut off or whatever. And we just kept waiting for COVID to end. So like, we're in California for about a year and a half, and I'm like in there fighting that imposter syndrome of like, do I go back to O'Reilly's? Do I really want to do that?
Right.
Like, and like, my wife is also a teacher,
Mm.
but she was shut out of the classroom too, and she was trying to teach kindergartners on Skype,
And
on
yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's just like that wasn't happening. She did that for a little bit, and she was like, "Yeah, no, like, kindergartners, like, no, they cannot focus anywhere near enough to try and learn anything online." So, like, she was just at a restaurant, and like, I think it was about almost a year of us staying in California, and I couldn't find a design job, and I was doing automotive journalism and automotive photography, all that other kind of stuff, but it wasn't yielding the funds that we needed to sustain. So it
Right.
was just like, you know what, we're just gonna hightail it out of here. We're gonna mass migrate like everybody else in California and get out. So we went back home to Texas, back home to family. In Texas, we got here, and it's about like COVID almost never really happened over
Yeah.
here. It's just like certain places would have masks and stuff, or like certain places try to utilize outside a little bit more, but like it's still Texas. It's still 110 degrees outside. Like we just didn't want to do it. And everybody's sweating through their masks and everything like that, like can barely breathe or whatever. So, but I mean, I was able to come back out here. I worked full time for Drift Hub, instead of doing design work for other places. So I focused on Drift Hub. I became the shop manager. We had when I started, we had one tech, or one and a half techs. Like one of our guys only came like once or twice a week,
Mm.
and then we had another one come in as well. I mean, they're outstanding guys. They did a lot of outstanding work. They're outstanding drifters as well. Just, there were plenty of challenges that had to be overcome with running a shop and having so many hands in the pod and all that kind of stuff. So, it just it didn't seem feasible because of the bills that we were having to face, and they were raising the rent and all that kind of stuff. Just
Mm.
like we were kind of out in the boonies of Dallas anyways. So like, from the heart of Dallas to where we were is about almost hour and a half.
So
So
clients
like
getting out there.
clients didn't really want to go out there. Like
Mm.
unless they looked us up and specifically wanted us, because like of course our main thing was 350Zs. So it's like, most of the 350Z, a lot of 350Z guys would come to us, but there's a whole bunch of other drift shops that are closer to the heart of Dallas that are, doing other things and other kind of stuff. And so I mean, it just didn't quite make sense. We were also doing like we had bays and stuff, so we rent out the bays, and like we didn't have a whole bunch of people come out to rent the bays because like at the end of the day, the people that wanted to rent out bays, they had their day job and they wanted to come home and work on their stuff. Like don't to have to move their entire project car to our place and then like think about using our tools versus their tools. It's just it's like something that you can cut out later if you want
No,
to.
no, it's fine.
Masturbating with your left hand, it's just kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like nothing feels right. Like I
yeah,
like have like, and it was an air conditioned shop too.
yeah,
It felt great. Like the whole shop was air conditioned. The mechanics loved it. We loved it. Like it was chill. Like you
yeah.
saw us just chilling on the Sims in the shop, and it
Hmm.
felt great. Like we had an FD watch party,
And it's
and
a
like
clean. But I
the
want to bring it
parties was
back up
good.
if the guys are just proud them. It's a clean shop too, man. And that's
Yeah,
the thing with a lot of guys. They get into shops, and the one of the biggest things I see with a lot of the like dude, it's like when you're saying it, it's like it's like that stuff right there. Is that what you said? Is why I work, because it's like
mm,
you get to feel like you need some stuff like this, and it's not, and like you said, everybody. It's not that nobody was bad or somebody. It's just business is. You gotta, if you're not making money or making like the ROI, like a good ROI from it, man, you're just spinning tires and stuff like that.
exactly.
So you want to make sure that your time has been utilized properly. Everybody's happy, because eventually you'll start getting to that point where people will start being unhappy or questioning things or saying, why are we doing this and why are we not doing that, and blah blah blah. And then
Exactly.
it just starts doing things like that. So business is it's a I I do it, man, because I was military and stuff like that, and I kind of always had the mindset that I want to kind of work for myself and do things like that. So it's but then you start getting into that thing where you literally push things and drive just so you don't have to go work for somebody, man. So one thing
Yeah.
I major respect in you, man, because a lot of guys, you graduated from college, and then you put that time in, you got the degree, and it's like now this degree needs to pay me back and everything, and then like it's like one of those things
Exactly.
where, hey man, I don't want to go work at a rallies. Like that's a high school job or a job where somebody didn't go to school and that's all they have, man. So one thing, man, and that's for all the guys out there who had to do stuff like that, man. Major respect, and it's one of those things
Absolutely.
where I guarantee if it was just you by yourself, you probably would have like found another way. But like your family, that's one thing where people, dude, I've sold shit that I was like I thought I would never sell to keep my doors open. I've there's only I would say it's like I got my two comp cars. Those are like that's like the last resort. You know what I mean? Like if I don't have nothing else to sell,
Yeah.
I will sell those to keep my family fed, because I can
That's what
build
I'm
that shit.
saying.
I can build that shit again. Like I built it myself from the ground up, so I can do it again. I've
And you can
got
do it more badass
yeah,
next
and I
time.
got two cars. I got two cars back, and I'm about to actually resell one of the ones I got back. So I sold it, and a guy like, yeah, I really don't need it, bought it back. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, and I want to say I don't want to say like I don't shut people off, but it's like I can't talk to I could talk to yourself, other guys that've been there. You've been in the shop environment. You know how it is. You know exactly what it is. It's like that universal. We already know what it is. We already know how the people are. We already know how the parts delay are. We got to all this guy say, hey man, I told you it was gonna be done. Said it's gonna be done next week because event this blah, blah, blah. All man, I'm fortunate where I put the shit up front. I put the unpleasant parts up front first. That way, when we get to the delays, if we have them, I didn't promise you shit. I didn't promise you I'm going to be done on this day so you can make cars of coffee. I had one guy I had to kind of get him about that. Like, hey, I'm not getting this shit. I'm not rushing your car for cars and coffee. I'm going to get done when I get done. If you make it to there, you make it. Then he takes his car to Cars and Coffee and acts like he does all the work. And they say, dude, we see his Instagram. He built the car, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this guy, it was a great build, but the customer was just such a it really just soured the whole build, man, because he was just such a tool towards the end of the job. And, trying to micromanage things, and I had to like put my foot down like again and tell him like, hey man, stand by, pay when I'm done, enjoy your life. And I didn't want to do that, but some people are like that. But it was just like one guy out of like hundreds I've had. And all my customers are really good. The ones that make it to the bay, and I have a screening process. Email is a screener, so if you can't email me properly, that means like you're not gonna be a good client. You're just something about not being able to formulate sentences. I've never been not wrong about that. And when you get there and the guy's just all over the place and he wants to buy this and buy that, oh yeah, by the way, can you install this? And by the way, my buddy's gonna drop me. No, we're not gonna do all that, man. So I don't want to. I'm getting better with this in my podcast. I don't want to sound like I'm talking but shit, you already know, man. You already know how it is. Whatever. Let's get off of that. But the because guys like, man, because I remember like one guy said, hey man, you hate your customers or something. Like, nah, dude. I'm just kind of venting to my other business guys, and like we don't name names and everything, but guys kind of pick it up and everything, but things like that. But long story short, in the 7 years, I've had way more awesome customers, and I've had like literally maybe 5 dudes that I don't want to talk to ever again in life. The work was great, but the way they carried on after it was just like, you know what I mean? Like when I install a brand new Ogura twin plate clutch, it's going to make noise. That's what they do. And then you go go around base and ask 5 different people, hey man, I think so. Can you check this out, man? I got this installed by Pinku style. He didn't mention nothing about the engine I just built for him, forged engine that's immaculate. He just nitpicked on like little stupid shit, like, I'm like, then the dude's like, yeah man, it rattles. And then like he's like, yeah man, I'll talk to some other guys as a second opinion just to make sure like you were correct about. I'm like, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I told you before we put this unsprung solid hub, floating hub clutch in your car, it's going to rattle when you push a clutch in. It's going to make noise. That's what they do. That's the byproduct of that clutch. And I was like, or I can charge you $1,200 to take that out and put the OE one back in, man.
It was like even when the first day I bought my Z, it was making that noise, like like putting let go. Yep. And there's a rattle down there.
That's like a signature, like when that's like a cool, like when you in our thing, like you hear like Ogura, OS this. I got my EDL. You push that clutch and you hear those shits rattle. That means that dude got a hyper single in there or a twin plate. Like he's ready to work. So when you hear that, so if you push a clutch in, like, well, we'll say Nismo copper mix are quiet, but they got a little noise too, the twin disc, but they're quieter than but they also can't take that abuse that a metallic, Kevlar clutch can take and everything. So I told guys, stuff like that when I have a customer, before I do it, before I take $1 from them, before I turn a bolt, I tell them everything I tell them all the byproducts is going to rattle, it's going to shake, it's going to do this, it's going to feel like that. That way, when we get to the end, and I got pictures, and they see it, oh yeah, man, this little frame. I'm like, yeah, well, you want it polyurethane versus this, or you want aluminum versus that. And then I tell them, hey man, when you put this old Grura clutch in there, now you got to change these old ass 20-year-old bushings in the back because now that power is going to find a weak point and it's going to move your diff around. So let's go and do it at the same time. And then so I kind of upsell, but I upsell in a way where I know this is going to affect that. So let's go ahead and change it because I don't want to hear your email. Yeah. The guy with R34, he was a builder himself, but he didn't have his tools here and he didn't have the time and all this other bullshit he gave me and why he couldn't do it. And then he gets like, dude, like 15 minutes after he left, I got an email. Hey man, I noticed you didn't plug up the TPS. I'm like, the TPS in R34 only uses one sensor, not two. Have a nice day. I'm like, it just started, dude, and like for 3 days. And then on the third day, I'm like, so what have you done to the car so far? And he's like, well, I took this out. I'm like, well, your warranty is voided because you already took things apart. And he's like, yeah, that's fine, that's cool. And I was like, well, there's no further need to call me. We're done. And I don't want to be like that because it was an awesome build, dude. Awesome build.
Yeah.
Clean car. R34 V-Spec 2. It was supposed to be one of those builds where I kind of post about it and stuff like that. I never the build. It just was like that, and it's because the client, authority and I hate to break. It was because I was a black dude and he was a white guy from like somewhere in like Midwest, and he just something about me. He just didn't trust that I fully knew what I was doing. So he was sending me links. Hey man, I want you to read this link on Heltech just to make sure. I'm like, I'm a fucking dealer and installer for Heltech. I don't need to read. I've already done that. And so I'm like, so this guy was. I'm like, and that dude, that was what made that interaction right there. Because I went off on him kind of politely, but I went off on him a little bit, and I was like, dude, I don't need anything. And furthermore, you're coming to me, so as a man, you need to relinquish control. And I kind of like lectured the dude, and he's like about the same age, about a couple years older than me actually. And I'm like, you don't do that to people, man. You came to me to get my service. Now you're trying to tell me how to provide my service to you, and stuff like that. So it was and for guys there, it's good to hear stuff like this because it doesn't matter how far you lean forward to please people. You're not gonna, unfortunately, please everybody.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things. Is that if you want to get into business, design anything, like you can put your best effort, your best design, the highest resolution possible, raw format, and they're like, hey man, I would like it to be a little bit more pinker than that, or this and this. I know you've been through that, but designing for people.
I mean, I had to hold my tongue just yesterday because someone's asking me about our rental services for a gaming truck, and it was just like yeah, like can I get more information? I'm like, yeah, it's $200 an hour plus mileage. And it was like, wait, so you're gonna charge me to come out? And I'm just like,
yeah, yeah.
like,
nah, dude, nah, bro.
I just ignored it.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I mean, what, you want me to drive to El Paso for free? Like, what do you think this is? Like, okay.
Again, man, that's what it is. I blame Burger King, man. Happy Joy, man. I blame Burger King, man, because it's like it's what it is, man. And I tell guys, again, I use this education, man. We're kind of driving on business stuff. Like a lot of people, they don't. Especially 21-year-old, 22-year-olds, some older guys for some reason, they never work with like a individual company or individual, like I hate to use the word small business because small business means you have less than 100, like 1,000 and like, I think it's 1,154 employees that's the category. So when you hear that word small business, that means they have less than 1,000. Also depends on the industry because cars are different than health workers is a number. So health workers is like 30 staff, and then like cars is like 100 whatever 1,000. So small business just means that's the category for taxes. It doesn't mean that they're small in nature where they can't do shit. Like you guys obviously were doing some cool stuff. That rig that you got, everything that stuff, like that's tax write-offs, that's taxes, that's stuff like you got to procure to get out there, man. And then like when you have your rig, man, if you're running like a generator, that generator costs is this much to get filled up. You're getting charged for everything, man. Like you're getting charged for my lift fee, my electricity, my disposal of oil, my disposal of fuel, my disposal of parts.
Hooking up the truck, okay?
Yeah,
even
dude.
Hooking up the truck.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, you got it. So that's one thing out there that I don't understand. And like, if I came towards you guys for anything, if you guys want to issue a rate, and that's how I carry it too. If I want to provide a discount, I will provide that. Other than that, straight up asking for it is just like already you lose me because you're just saying screw your struggle. Go back to when you talk about the pandemic, you had to go work back at places you want to work at. People don't factor in all that stuff, man. And I try to when I meet somebody who I can tell like you might be like 30 years old or 40 years old, you probably been through some shit in life to this point. You don't have to be that old to go through some stuff. So I kind of assume that, but then when you start speaking and you start acting a certain way, I could tell like you haven't been through anything. Like you're spoiled. You haven't had to support a family. You haven't had to think about things that we had to think about. So they may have done that stuff, but the way they're acting tells me that they haven't. So what I do is I lose respect for you, man, and then I start like kind of like, hey man, like we're gonna bring this back in and do this task, or you can go somewhere else. And
I'm saying,
and it happens, man.
If you don't want to pay me to strap the car onto the trailer, well, then it's like, well, if I show up and the car's not on the trailer, I mean, like, what you want?
That's crazy, man.
What do you want me to do?
That's crazy, man.
You want a discount? The discount was not hooked up to the trailer.
Yeah, I actually like the. I was watching when I first watched the thing there. I like how you got the because I got 3 rigs, but they're all like on a wall flat, and I like how you got because they're like I like how this TVs are staggered there and they're like sideways, so they're both players are sideways already, so that's pretty cool. So
I mean, like, I can give you a little bit of a show, but it's like that. I mean, depending on what we got to do, I mean, we can do what we got to do.
Okay. So it's just the same place that I'm watching in the video.
No. We moved out of that. Was a place that they raised the rent on us. So we had to get out, and I was just like, nah. So we've restructured. We actually on my partner's he bought a house that had a shop, and he built it out just a little bit more, but this is a new spot.
Evo 7 there?
No, that's a Acura T.
Oh god, I was seeing it looked like a headlight from Evo there.
Right? It's almost. But we got a Coronet over there.
Okay. Oh, nice.
We got a 240 over here. This has been a paperweight for a long time, but
dude, trust me, man. I got multiple of them. There's like a VQ.
Lots of paperweights, and it's probably it's 946. Well, let me see if we got any light out here. Maybe. Nah, I ain't see nothing. But we got a Fox body out here and a Chaser JZX 81 over there, and then a Z outside as well.
So you're looking. So this look. I don't want to give exact GPS coordinates, man. Like, so what part of Texas are you in right now?
We're in Dallas. We're east of Dallas.
East of Dallas. Okay. So that reason is and that's the great thing about this is I've said it sparingly. I'm going to be and it's people like, why are you going to do that? Because I want to. I'm going to be sending a card to my guy Alan at Bridgemoto, and he's going to be holding my card there. So I'm going to be doing pro-am stuff over in the States. So
hey, let's go.
It's like, dude, you're probably wondering why the fuck's he's in Japan, bro. Is when you the grass is greener. Grass is greener is a real thing, bro. And people, and I love living here. My wife's here. I got my wife's Japanese family, 5 kids. It's safe. I'm right by the, I like being here, obviously, over Baltimore. But it's, when you hear it, man, it kind of, you get to see how, like, it's just like, I don't know, man. If take case in point, let's make it so people, they watch LZ, for example, right? LZ just won his thing last week and stuff like that, but then they don't realize, like, all the stuff it took to get to that win, and maybe some people saying they gave it to him because he's this and blah blah blah, whatever the case was. I heard, I didn't watch the event, but I heard he was driving good, and it's the right. He still has to be there, and that's the thing about it, man. Even if he got there because other people messed up, you still got to be there. You got to be there first, and then you have the chance to be at whatever happened with the NOFA thing and the hood pin. That was kind of funny.
Look, you gotta be in there so that Stuckey can hit the wall. Like,
you gotta be there, man. You gotta be. It still don't matter what it is. You gotta be there. But saying it to say, I would like to take maybe a handful of LZ's like top followers, right, and then go put them in a one day of shooting a video, and then they'll see how much work is involved. And that's just an example. How much work is involved. How much when you're just at his facility, it ain't a music playing and a show. Is like they're working. Yep. And people, when they come here to my shop, they like, I had some guys who I kind of tried out for assistance. They seen a YouTube and the music in the background, stuff like that. And then they get here and they see like, hey man, this is real shit. It's not a carnival. It's not like that. So when people see like the real behind the scenes, what it takes to get it done, then they get a respect for it, a big respect for what goes into everything. Like your events that you run, people to show up and they pay to get in and they play on the Sims and do all that stuff, and that's what they're supposed to do. They're not really, that's not their job to be. Yep. But then they don't understand what it took to get this. And then when the event coordinator say, hey man, you guys actually can't park right there. We need you to move the rig over here. And I haven't even been there, but I'm pretty sure this shit's happened. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because it's just, that's what happens in events. You show up, the generator.
Disconnect the truck. Take the truck somewhere else. It can't be in the show. Just the trailer.
Yep. The generator's not there. The generator's not the right power. The generator don't have the right plug, and this, and this, and then
oh, it's about to rain. Oh,
Yeah, 100%, dude. 100%.
Let me figure something out. Wait, hold on.
And that sucks when you can't even get a rain day. It's like, hey, so the last 2 live home events ahead both happened in the rain, and then the days after, both days before and after was sunny and bright, dude.
Of course.
I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, come on, man. Like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Like, so it's like,
of course.
It was like, it's saying like 20% 20% chance of rain, and I just learned actually what that means yesterday by my guy I had a guy he's a doc. He's like a young guy, and he's like, it actually means 20% of the area. I was like, I didn't know that, dude. So thanks.
Wait, it means 20% of the area?
Yeah, he's a college. He just graduated. He's actually a dental guy, and he's just becoming. So I didn't know that. That's what it, because he's around a bunch of other smarty brainiacs, and he was like, yeah, dude, it doesn't mean that. And I was like, oh shit, it doesn't. And I looked it up. It's like, no shit, that's what it means. I thought it meant 20% chances of rain. It just means.
I feel like, I don't know, like over here in Texas, like literally, like there's running jokes in Texas, like if you don't like the weather, just wait a few minutes. Like other than the heat, like it's just like that. Like I stopped watching the Weather Channel a very long time ago.
Yeah,
because like literally it'd be like I thought, percent chance of rain. I was like, okay, just waiting. Never happened. Like okay, like what am I waiting here for? There was actually a drift event. I was going to go to a specific drift event over in Mineral Wells because it was supposed to rain. I was like, okay, I don't have any tires. We're just gonna go in the rain. Send it. I'm not even worried about it. Show up, no rain, not a dry. It rained on the way there, but when I got there, completely dry.
How was the because I remember doing, I guess one of the things of the pandemic was also the I guess the cold wave there. Was that close to you guys, or was it like when it was extra cold and everybody's flipping out and shit was freezing?
That happened, I think the winter before last, and we were already over here. But I will say that the weather that happens over there is, I feel like they over dramatize the weather in California, to be completely honest. Yeah. Because like 92 degrees over there is still wonderful compared to Texas. Because like over here, even the wind in Texas is hot. Like at night, dude, it's still 95 degrees. Dude,
that reminds me of number one. Texas is the best place to train for Iraq because we went to Fort. It was Camp Bullis. So that's where I would train. You would train up 6 weeks before you go into Iraq, and it's training. The first year you go there, you learn all the stuff. So actually what it is climatizing to Iraq and Kuwait. Dude, like that is identical. Like the climate, Kuwait and 2 o'clock in the morning, it feels like 98 degrees or like 120 degrees humidity. And 2 a.m. At 2 a.m. So you go outside from the AC thing and your glasses get fogged up from the instant. It just instantly fogs up from the difference in temperature. And dude, on that saying it to say, man, I said for all my guys in Texas, if something happened over here and Japan fell apart and whatever happened and they had to evacuate, the only place in America I'm going is Texas. That's it.
Come through, man. Bro, come through.
I like the space. I like how everybody's pretty, for the most part, minds their fucking business. I like the space. The army bases are huge. I'm like, bro, we're inside of a base right now. I feel like I'm inside of a town. It's just like, we went through the gate, and it's just like this whole. It's so big at Fort Hood that people got lost and died inside the base.
Oh my, for real? Yeah. You messing with me, right?
No, they seriously. And it's like every year, like pretty much every year, they said on average 1 or 2 people die.
That's why I had no idea.
Because they do land nav training there, so you got to train. So it's so big there that you're inside of a base and you're doing, and they drop you off and they say survive for 3 days, and then you gotta use the compass, topography map, whatever. You gotta use the elevation and all that stuff to get back to this rally point. And if you don't get there, they'll come find you. But people have like died out there, man, inside the fucking base on training missions. That's how big it is. We were shooting 50 cals there, and there was these M1 Abrams tanks out there and stuff like that. There's cows walking around. I was like, yeah, please don't shoot the cows. It was
Right.
just like, yeah, it's like, and then on the other side there was like we were shooting into like this horseshoe, like it was a natural shooting into their 50 cals. Over on the other side of that train they were doing drone. They said, yeah, if you see the drones, don't shoot the drones down. Like, dude, why the fuck they train drones on the other side? We're shooting 50 cals and 249 saws. So it was just like, but dude, I just like at the end of training sucked because you're running around, you got gear on, you're doing all this stuff on the ground, you're training for your combat, so it's not supposed to be pleasant. But
I can't imagine the smell, my guy. Like on the daily, I stink over here on the daily.
Yeah.
Like it's hard.
Yeah.
Like I have to reapply deodorant like 4 or 5 times over here.
It's actually pretty good, man. Because guys are pretty much up on air, man. But you smell like military gear and musk and stuff like that. But at the end of training, man, like when training is like done and like you get a little bit, you get about an hour or two of free time to like send messages or do whatever before it's like lights out type things. And just chilling there and like the sun's going down and the weather's like as the sun going down, it's literally getting cooler as the sun goes down. Like literally by this minute it's getting cooler. And then you like fucking deers walking around with tags in their ear because they tagged them. And this is on base. This is on the inside of this is inside of a base. You feel like you're in another world. And the barbecue, man, maybe I don't know if it's because I was in Texas, but the barbecue, dude, like it was just ridiculously good. Like it was just. And then everybody's number one. Good. So it's like who really is the fucking number one spot in Texas? It's like everybody's number one. And all that shit was good. Even the little
right.
Like it's like all of it was good.
The best.
Yeah. And one thing I did like is I noticed that one thing I picked up on is everybody had they had put their own little twist on a barbecue. Like the actual barbecue sauce had like a little, maybe they had honey in theirs or maybe they had cayenne in theirs. It was all like, so I think that's the difference is the actual, how they marinate the meat and then their barbecue and, how they serve it to you. Because I had ones where they just serve it to you in a little, pulled pork and a little tray and that shit. It's good. It don't matter how they serve it. Then we went to,
you're right.
Funny story, man. I'll switch right to funny story. I went 3 years to Iraq. So the first year, they kind of had this like little hazing thing for the guys who went before. We would do this thing about the third week because we ate MREs. You guys don't know MREs and meals ready to eat. They're like the worst. They get a lot of calories and they make you constipated on purpose because they don't want you to have diarrhea while you're in combat. It's better to be constipated while you're fighting versus having the runs while you're trying to shoot somebody or not get killed. So they constipate you on purpose, but you eat those for 3-4 weeks, and then on the third week, we go on this mission. We run convoys through Texas M915s from bullets. We run up about an hour away. You got to do that for training and stuff like that. But the caveat was we go to lunch at this barbecue place, and they loved us there because we spent a lot of money. So this is your first time eating food in 3 weeks. So they go there, and then they like, hey, man, you got an hour to eat. What do you want to eat? And I'm talking about the steaks are like this fucking big, and the ribs are huge. And it's just like, bro, you haven't seen food in like 3 weeks, only MREs. So we just killing it. And then I noticed my first year, the vets, the guys who was there before, they weren't eating as much. And they was like, yeah, don't say nothing. So they let us eat all this shit. And then right when you get back, the PT gear lets us run 5 miles.
Oh, no.
Dude, you talking about,
you got the itis, you got to run 5 miles.
Everybody's falling asleep on the way back. And you get there. And then, like, all right, switching to PT gear, let's go 5 miles. Bro, everybody's spitting up. I held it down. I didn't eat that. I don't like eat. I never. I did it. I ate like a steak, but I don't eat. I don't like being full, like full. So I stopped right when my stomach. I started getting like that. That first level of full filling. I cut myself off. Other dudes were just packing it down, man. They was just like 2 ribs, brisket, all this shit, dude. And it was like 5 miles, man. All that fucking meat in their stomach, dude, undigested.
Hey, it probably tasted just as good coming out.
Oh, dude, it was definitely people spitting up whole, like, it looked like you just pretty much, it just looked like pulled pork.
Swallowed the whole brisket.
Yeah, it just looked like pulled pork with like some extra like gooey shit on it. It was just like yeah, dude, it was real. So and we running up hills, down hills. It was like fucking 90 something degrees or something like that. And we had our M4s. It was just and then so the next year I went back. It was a hit. Don't tell the new guys nothing. The same thing. New guys eat all this meat, and we just chilling, like eating, like just snacking on shit. And yeah, dude, it was like that shit was like a little hazy thing, man. But it's the military sports and everything, man, is still part of life. I mean, I'm not military anymore. My customers are 99% military, and all that stuff, man. So, but anyway, man, we I guess we just died. So for you, man, with the drift hub and everything, what do you like? What's your you guys' goal? Like I said, like next 5 years, what do you want to be at? What you want to be doing and stuff like that, man.
What do we want to be out in 5 years?
Yeah,
Just a side note, like we were supposed to, like, so when we moved back to Texas, we got married and everything.
yeah.
We were supposed to have our honeymoon in Japan and then
Ooh.
potentially like go down to Australia that same trip. But I mean, really, like COVID really just
Oh, dude.
changed my entire life trajectory
Yeah,
completely.
yeah.
But anyways, before I pull up all my PTSD, um, uh, let me just the next 5 years for Drift Hub. I mean, so we're gonna have our rental drift cars hopefully before the end of the year. We're hoping that it'll happen sooner. With Tropical Glitz sponsoring us, we're gonna be getting their paint in soon and start painting the IS 300, and that's probably gonna be our first training vehicle with the
Okay.
350Z coming up shortly right after that. Um, we have several people that want to compete in our rental cars or at least be with us while we're at events. So hopefully next year we'll be with Lone Star Drift a little bit more. Or hopefully we'll have a little bit more sponsors on board. And in general, just be a whole lot more organized and more together. We'd like to eventually make another trailer, build one from the ground up with just simulators. Because I mean, like no matter what event we go to, our
Dude, I might have to get some of this
simulators,
paint, man.
isn't it? It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
Like look, it's custom pearls.
yeah.
Like that they make sure they can provide all the paint at in rattle cans. So like the pearls they can put in the rattle cans.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
design the pearls so that and the flake so it comes out of the spray can correctly, so it doesn't clog up and everything like that. Like it's really gorgeous stuff. It's really awesome. Um, let's see what else we want to do. I mean, like eventually I want to go back to competing. I only competed for like I think a season and a half, and I was like, yeah, I can't afford this. Like
Mm,
I need to get the rest of my life right, so I can't afford this because like
yeah,
it's either like because at the time I was like it's either I go around begging people to be put on their program and for them to give me stuff, or I figure out how to do it myself. And it's just like I'd rather be Red Bull racing and have my own drink and
yeah.
have my own business so that I can sustain driving. So, hopefully within the next 3 years, we're going to be, back driving a whole lot more than we are now. Because right now we're only driving maybe 5 events a year max. And we want to do a whole lot more than that. And then hopefully next year we're going to have several different classes of driving, drifting, and training. And more than likely we'll have some sort of track that we actually dedicate ourselves to going to.
Mm,
Um, next year, we would like, if those educational classes go well, we would like to be able to start traveling because we also have a 4-car wedge trailer as well, so that we can actually just pull up to an event as long as we have another tow rig and bring the trailer, bring the cars, train people on site, and just, be able basically be a traveling party circus with cars and video games. So,
mm.
I mean, if we can get to Drift Week, we want to be there. If we can get to more Fuel Fest, Grid Life, like all these different festivals, like we would like to be at the festivals,
Awesome,
bar
man.
none. Like that's like if there was a proper drifting goal in my head, it's those events. I mean, as much as of course we want to compete in FD and all that kinds of stuff, but I mean, yeah. And then long term, I mean, even longer than that, like maybe 15, 20. I want to start actually producing my own cars. That's been my dream goal no matter what. Because like I said, like originally when I asked my teachers what do I have to do to make cars, that's always been the goal is to be my own manufacturer, be Elon Musk, be Von Gittin Jr., be Shelby Carroll Shelby. Like I want to build, I want to create, I want to design, I want to be that guy.
Yeah, man. Sorry
So
about telling the
there we
guy.
go.
Just yeah, this yeah, man. That's yeah. That's what. Yeah, it's so much like into all of that stuff, man, and like getting stuff done, and like probably, and one thing too, like you said, the Corona kind of like change the trajectory and stuff, man. We have an idea where we want to be and what we want to do and stuff like that, but outside forces, make things happen. Like I am for my own stuff here, fortunate to be like at my situation I have right now. But I wanted to be certain way. So the FD thing I just mentioned, I actually planned on dude. I swear, some people before the pandemic, they had legit plans to do things, and some people used it I was gonna start doing bodybuilding right before 2020 happened and stuff like this, and the gyms closed and blah blah blah. So a lot of people BS on what they were gonna do before the pandemic. I was legit had things set up to be coming over there, and I wanted to start doing program because I didn't want to petition in and use my being in Japan and stuff like that, and whatever notoriety I have here to walk in. I don't want I'm talking about on the petition stuff. Like some guys, they got a little YouTube channel. Now we're not talking about LZ because he went through the thing and did his thing, stuff like that. But some other guys, they
See, I did this, so you should give me a license.
That shit, that happens here. That happened. That happened to one guy here, and he got ran out real quickly, man. And it was a shit situation with that guy, man. Hopefully he's doing well, but whatever. It's one of those things where I want to go through I want to do program, and that way I'll rank up. No one is seat time practice because I haven't been even drifted in the States in forever at in a high level vehicle. So it's really seat time, and then skills are skills. I have them, and if I'm as good as I know I am and think I am, then you should rank up. You should fucking place top 16, top 8, and stuff like that. There'll be no problem.
100%.
But if you get there and then you're not making top 16, it's probably not as good as you think you are. And then factoring in, because even James Dean, as good as he is, he's like, hey, I want a right-hand drive car because this is what I had the most seat time in. Daigo, right-hand drive car, because it makes sense. So for me, I'm going to need a right-hand drive car because I have years of seat time in a right-hand drive car. I literally started drifting in left-hand drive, and comparable, I've been here 15 years of right-hand drive drifting. You know what I'm saying? So it would kind of be it. So I'm going to send a car over, right? Because it just kind of will put me at a disadvantage just getting acclimated to left-hand drive again. Even though you can do it, but it's just why, if there's the rule not saying you have to be left-hand drive, I'm comfortable in right-hand drive because I've been drifting those for 15 years now. So that's what I'll be doing. I'll be sending the car over. I'll be going through the ranks from the bottom up, and doing the program, and hopefully my thing is to try to get as most I can get out of one event because I'm not gonna do Robbie Nishida and fly back and forth every week. Robbie was doing that, man. Robbie's a good guy, man. Everybody knows Robbie, man. But that's expensive, dude. That's expensive.
Yeah.
Unless
so are you gonna be coming over here and staying there for a while, or
no, just pretty much doing around, and maybe a day before, day after, and fly right back over, man. So I'll be doing that, and as my business progresses, and as I get to that point, like I said, where I don't have, the way my business runs is I don't have anybody waiting on me. I have reservations, and I have the jobs I'm working on, and everybody else you're waiting, but your car is not here. If that makes sense, you got your car, I got the reservation. If you decide to cancel, I keep the money. The reservation keeps you honest. That's less, less stuff to worry about. So my shop is one in, one out, and I'm on to the next. So as a result, what's starting to happen, and I was thinking about making an apology video. Apologizing for when I first opened, I was like, we're gonna get this job done fast and this and this, and that was the case until I started getting bigger jobs, and now I got bigger dwell times, and now I'm at a level now where people are wanting me to do the full restoration, engine, chassis, suspension, everything. This takes a month. This take a month to do
at least.
In between all your regular, like we mentioned before, taxes. Going to pick up parts, going to drop off parts, going to meetings, doing this. If I could just work on cars all day, just then that would be a dream job. But that's, I say kind of, it's not really a dream job to work on somebody's stuff all the time. But what I'm saying is it's more to the turning wrenches. So all you guys think about is turning wrenches. Even when I go to the grocery store, I'll see a guy and they'll make this little slight comment you should be working on cars, man. And one guy kind of went out, once in a while, I was like, yeah, cool, yeah, whatever. I'm just buying eggs right now. But one guy really said it, and he really meant it. And I'm like, I do what I want. Have a nice day. And I walked away from him. And actually 2 weeks later, that guy, we didn't do business because, we had to. I thought he was joking. He actually wasn't joking. He was serious about what he said. I was serious about my response, and he was like, well, so he sent me an email, passive aggressive, saying some stuff about this. I'm like, hey man, I'm not for you. Enjoy your time here. I'm not for you, man. And it was just like a $3,000 job that I could have used the money, but it's just the principle of stuff like that. And that I don't know, again, getting back to customers again, man. But yeah, man. Is enough of that, but yeah, man, it's definitely like you said, man. It's definitely so many things that happen and with that and things like that. And my thing is just my whole purpose, and I hope other than my kids seeing these videos, God forbid something happens to me, man. This is going to be episode number 209 or 210, podcast number 200, the 210 podcast.
Hey, 210, that's me.
Really? Yeah. So you got 210, and my buddy was saying, man, you do these podcasts and like only like 100, 200 people, 300 people view it. It's like, bro, it's for me and a person. It's your circle. It's not the views doesn't make me the man. You know what I mean? And when these young guys, I understand it's the way of the future. It's currently what they're going through. When your whole personality and everything is based off of how many views you get, you're something's wrong with you, man.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and even at that, you know what? It's these viewers that count, okay?
Yeah,
these
100%.
Ones right here, these 300 that's watching right now, thank you. I appreciate you. Donald appreciates you.
Yeah, man.
Keep supporting us. Like, we're doing our best. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep growing. This isn't even my final form, okay?
Yeah, man, 100%.
Pull the freezer out. I'm pull freezer out.
100%, man.
This ain't my final form.
100%, dude. So
better keep watching. We're going to put on a show.
Yeah, man. And the cool thing about it, and this is the best thing about all this stuff, man, it's eventually, man, somebody out there is going to have the idea to do the same thing you guys doing or probably doing it, and they got a bigger bank or whatever. And it happens out there, and it sucks. It's part of it. People don't have creativity. Okay. But something's going to happen where you're going to meet somebody, and they're going to want you to do like, hey, man, because I've experienced it, man. Like, hey, man, could we have something to work out for a year contract? And that 1 year thing sustains your thing, and it's like you already got all that. So it's not like, can you do this? In theory, you have events you guys have put on. You got videos of YouTube. You got customers who already enjoyed it. They already see the analytics. So it's like they don't know, can you do it? They know you already done it and you can do it. So like people out there who want to do like any type of business, man, even if you're making beanies, just keep pushing, keep making your videos. You're not getting likes and subscribes and stuff that now. And we're human, like, so like, yeah, it does feel good, cool when you get validation. Yeah. But if you don't get that validation, that shouldn't determine like I'm going to quit because I'm only getting this many. Because I'm going to quit YouTube. People post on Facebook. I'm like, all right, well then quit then. Like what you posted because you wanted that kind of like. And that's one thing I don't like about social media is people want to, they want to get people to feel sorry for them and shit like that and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude. And I when people say that, I'm like, hey, man, maybe you should quit then. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you're not built for it. You're not built to submit a video to YouTube. Everybody does that. Mm-hmm. So, like, because you're not getting LZ numbers or salmon numbers or whatever out there numbers,
that's right.
You know what I mean?
Don't be discouraged.
Don't be discouraged, man.
It's just another step. It's the process.
It's the process.
I mean, like,
that's what
you got to fall in love with the journey. It's
Bro.
Every day. Look, every day is something else. It's
every
okay.
Day.
I prefer every day is different.
Yeah.
I hate the monotony of the same
100%,
thing every single day. Like, I can't stand it.
100%.
So it's just like, look, especially with my ADD and all that kind of stuff. Like, look, I need to be at least a little bit entertained, a little bit. Okay.
100%.
Not all of like, I'm okay being bored, but it's still like. Nah, like,
dude,
let's turn up when we can turn up. Let's do it,
dude. That's where like that, and I. So you saying that to me now? I mean, I'm the same way. When you guys are in that shop grinding like that, even though you're turning out a car, it's like you're like, all right, car's out of there, clean up the garage, next car in, and that can like psychologically screw you up, man, because you feel like you're just in this fucking hamster wheel, dude. And like then you're in the hamster wheel, you can see we all see on social media they're at this event, Drift Week's going on, that's going on, and Matsu's going on, and I'm like, I miss like all these events because I am making money for the family and stuff like that. But it's like if I change some things or whatever processes and whatever, maybe it'll free up more time. But then I was like, I want to grind and get this car done and do this and do that and do that. And it's like if you keep doing that and never, and then you know, you don't go to the track like I did yesterday. That was I just loaded up some cars. Like, hey man, we're going to the track. Let's go. It was random. I shut business down, went to the track, and that's the shit that when I was back in the day, when I was like, man, I was only wishing that I could go to Tsukuba like that and like do what they doing, and now I actually can do that. I do what I was really like, you know, the stuff that motivated me to get to the military, get through military, because I hated running long distance and stuff like that. My motivation was getting the Skyline, and then I've had everything, a GTR R32 Skyline. I've had everything else but a R32 GTR Skyline because they're everywhere, and I don't like having the same car that 80 people on base got. So I just don't care about, you know. So you know, but I'm gonna get one. I
never owned a 240, and I don't want a 240.
Yeah, dude. So yeah, dude, it's like that mundane shit and that stuff like that, man. Like that can really that can discourage or demotivate the most motivated person if you're doing the same shit every day. You get in the shop at this time, you eat lunch at this time, you get off at this time, answer emails at this time. It's like I might as well go work at a fucking Jiffy Lube if I'm gonna do this. So it's so for guys out there, man, you know
that can be provided for you, no problem.
100%.
Someone will give you a schedule.
Yep.
If you want to do the same thing every single day.
Yep. And then you know, getting into the, you know, don't want to be morbid, man. Again, bringing up your coach again, you know, passed away from there. And actually, my coach Pete Pompey, he passed away about I think about now 10 years ago, and he was something cancer too, man. So, you know, and it's weird you say skin cancer because to put it together, coach, you're outside a lot, you're getting sun big for years, and people like, you know,
doing something he loves.
Yeah, you're doing something you love. So that I'm willing to bet that was a result of, you know, and he in Texas, he's probably wearing a short sleeve shirt, and you're out there, you're exposed out there for that many, probably how many years he coached? 30, 40 years.
It was a long time. He played for Houston when they were the Oilers.
Dope. Yeah. So that's cool. So my coach was Pompey was he played for I think he played for the Jets when Wichcom was there. I forgot Namath. So he was a backup and everything. So it was like
Joe Namath,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, so he was there when Joe Namath was there. He was like one of the backup quarterbacks, practice squad and everything. But you know, most of the coaches all played. You know, one of our guys played for he played for the Oilers as well, defensive coach. And but it's like wild, man, because like he was like a practice squad guy, but he's still in NFL. You know, so it's wild how that, you know, even when you get to the NFL, there's levels. So it's just like crazy, man.
Yep.
But yeah, man. So again, man, you know, rest in peace to your coach, man. That's one of those things, man. But like, you know, saying it the same, man. It's like we all live like we're gonna live forever because you feel young, you feel vibrant, and then like you know, I mean, until you get the flu, and you're like, fuck, I feel like I'm gonna die. And then after you get the flu, like you get that, and I don't know how it is, man. I don't get sick often, but when you get sick, I got corona for like 2 days, and it was like, man, when I get after this shit, and for me, right after I get sick, for that, like, I'm hyper motivated always, but after I'm sick, I'm like extra for that 3 or 4 days, and then it kind of goes back down to normal motivation. Cause like you feel like dude, like this is what it feels like. I could die right now, you know. I mean, you're depleted. You can't eat. You're spitting up, whatever. And people just take life for granted, and they think like they're gonna be. So standard to say, you guys are there who got your 240 sitting around that's been a shelf for like 5 years. Like get that shit done, or just buy something,
right.
Or just buy something that's already fucking together, IS 200 or whatever the fuck, and let's go drift, dude. Because while I'm good, I've not been drifting, and man, these new cats are coming along, and they're fucking getting all this seat time now, and the technologies are getting better, and the Helltex, the ECU Masters, and the Link, the hinges are not blowing as much, so they get more seat time, and you're just banking off of your past shit, and you know, it's just like one of those things where like you're for every day you're not training jiu-jitsu or judo or whatever, you're falling behind. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's just one of those things where you just get out there.
Hey, shout out to everybody who has a build that's been sitting there for forever.
Yeah.
Get it running.
Yeah, man.
Leave it running, okay? Shout out to my partner, Juan Velasquez. Your paperweight look, you may as well just get rid of it at this point, okay? Come on, get it running.
Hey, speaking of that, I'm actually, as soon as we get off here, which I got to get out of here in like a couple of minutes, but as soon as we get off here, I'm going to pick up S15 that's been sitting for like 5 years. And the guy was like, hey, man, you want it? I was like, yeah, I'll take it. You got a little rust on it. I was like, I was like, for me, if the middle is good, the car is good. All the shit on the outside, we can cut that off. And but like as long as the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the car, your pickup points or your subframes are good, is salvageable. Everything
Yeah.
else is fucking accessory to a car. You know what I mean? Like we can cut fenders off and cut rust out and shit like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it, man. I got two 1UZs. I got two LSs and some other stuff. I got to throw something in there, man. But hey man, one again, I want to because we definitely gonna do this again. I want to shut this down because I gotta get to an appointment, and then also I want to
Yes,
talk to you
sir.
a little bit after offline, some stuff about some stuff and everything. But yeah, man,
Okay.
I just one thing I'm trying to do now is like any final thoughts, any like on anything that you want to talk about or any subjects or topics or whatever, man, you want to bring up, and we can jam on that, man, and then we'll wrap up on that, man.
So yeah, little quick thing is like something that helped us transition is that like my partner likes to reevaluate where we are
Mm,
as like decently often, maybe every year, maybe every 2 years or whatever, and just to see like, okay, well, are we reaching our overall goals? Like just like you asked me, like where do we see ourselves in the next few years? And it's like
right.
if it like to have that reevaluation of yourself and that self-awareness to be like, okay, am I getting there? Am I on a trajectory that's leading there? And if I am not on that trajectory,
Right.
what do we need to change to do that? And that
Mm,
is something that we did that led us to getting these gaming trailers. We were like, everyone that comes to our doors loves our simulators.
mm,
What can we do? Because like we want to be at the track. What can we do to get our simulators to the track? And so like we try to figure out, okay, well let's figure out what that is and how that makes sense. So I mean, I highly suggest that everybody, I mean like and here's the thing is that like no matter what trajectory and just like something that my professor Errol Gerson said at Art Center College of Design. It's from a book called Blue Ocean Strategy. You should be doing things that makes the competition irrelevant.
mm,
Okay? The dude in blue on YouTube should not give up just because Adam LZ is doing his thing.
mm,
Like Adam LZ should not give up because Hoonigan is doing their thing.
right.
They have two, like, yes, they have very similar customers, but they are not the same.
Right.
Like we can love LZ and we can love Hoonigan. We can love and support both. There is no reason that neither like that one of them should drop off the map. That is the same thing for everybody else doing their business. Like like there's plenty of people that can build engines out there.
Yep.
Donald Jackson does it the way Donald Jackson's gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
So do the things that you love, do it with passion. If you're not doing the things that you love, or if you're struggling trying to get towards that, do something that's going to help you do that. And of course, don't neglect your family, don't neglect your health, because it's
Hundred
like
percent.
if you are suffering to even enjoy yourself, then we're probably doing it wrong, right? Because
100%.
like if like maybe we just haven't found the perfect path for us that can adhere to our self-awareness, to our health, as well as our passions, right? Like unless it's like skin cancer and literally like your own job is actually killing you. I mean
Mm.
that's something else. But I do also want to give a shout out to my sponsors, if that's okay.
Oh, that's fine. That's awesome, man.
All right. So, everybody that's coming out to the Tsunami Block Party, let me just do another plug of that.
Yeah.
This Sunday, July 9th, 11 to 3 at Lakewood Brewing in Garland, Texas. Okay. We are having a block party. It is not just a static meet because there's going to be a free arcade for us. There's going to be a simulator drifting competition and tournament. As soon as that tournament is over, we're gonna allow everybody else to get on the simulators too, so y'all can experience it as well. We're gonna be giving away.
Experience how easy it's not.
Yep, yep. And then it's like so we got the winner of the competition is gonna get two Kenda tires. We're gonna be giving away a whole bunch of other merchandise too. Tropical Glitz, thank you so much for helping me beautify the entire scene over here. We're gonna make this whole place pop. ECU Master, thank you so much for supporting us. Careless as well, thank you for supporting us, getting everybody sunglasses and all that kinds of stuff. KBD Body Kits, thank you so much. We're gonna be getting KBD Body Kits on our rental cars, so everybody's gonna be able to experience it and not worry about hitting cones. I've had cones rip apart fiberglass parts. You don't have to worry that like these kits are indestructible.
Mm.
Okay. Lakewood Brewing, of course. Thank you so much for letting us, for hosting us and letting us take part. Like no Urban Racing, they're gonna be out there making shirts, and also like Urban Racing, thank you so much for having us be a part of y'all's drift events, letting us post up and entertain the crowd. Cricket Wireless, they're going to be out there. Shout out to Christina Wallace. She's also the leader of Team Chaos, so she's a local car meet and car team owner, black woman as well. So I mean, POC, she keeps it pushing. She's doing awesome things. She's literally like is a regional manager of Cricket Wireless, and she still does hair on the side, and
Mm.
she leads a car team. Like she's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Taylor's Automotive Performance, thank you so much. We have some other awesome people coming out as well. Tealwear Culture. They previously sponsored some FD guys. They're awesome people to have around. I'm sorry, another person that's really big for us is a guy by the name of Lesman. He's our painter.
Mm.
He's on Instagram as I Paint Cars. Our fabricator, Stoked on Cars, I believe he is on Instagram. Outstanding people. I mean, look, everybody should be should be lifting up their community no matter where you're at. Okay, like I understand, like loving the stuff from all the way across the world or whatever, but if there's something you can do for your community, do it, especially when you know that that passion is there in your community. Lift them up, do what you can. I
Mm.
mean, because like love on the people around you while you can. I mean, life is fleeting, so
Yeah.
let's have fun,
Yeah.
let's party, let's love on each other, let's go racing, let's go drifting, let's take out our cards and
You only
and
get one.
destroy some
You
things.
only get one shot, as far as I know. You only get one shot, so it's like with that stuff, like 100% what you said on that, man. It's just the my final to piggyback, which is a word people in the military hate hearing, because it means we're gonna be here for another 30 minutes. But to piggyback on what you're saying, man, on that stuff, man. Support support the people that my final thoughts, man, is like we were just talking about it a little bit, my will suspension, stuff like that, my own endeavors. So again, I'm not expecting nobody out there to cash out and buy all my that's a weird way to sell things. That's not good business. You just make the product. If they want it, they'll buy it. You just promote it, and that's it. With that, man, I do wholeheartedly believe in supporting people within my circle first before people outside. That's the way I work. You know what I mean? Because if you got, with all the stuff, there's absolutely nothing regarding the cars that I need to go outside of my circle of people, and adding you, Drift Hub, to the circle, meaning like people that, when I say circle, I mean people on my, I look at it like everybody that's on my Facebook, Instagram, IG, I see all the posts. I know that you do this, and I know that you do that, and blah, blah, blah. So, you know what I mean? It's I don't need to make a random new connection for somebody I don't have any rapport with at all, even online rapport. Start within, man, and even with your buddies, man. Like people, this is the thing about people always say, well, it's not about the support. And it's like some cop out to not support your friends, but it's not about the friend. It's about the quality. And like so you're going to support a random dude that you don't fucking know and give them $8,000, and your guy does the same thing for six
For
or
some
whatever.
sneakers,
Yeah, for $6,000. And it's not no, look, it's nothing to, look. I'm a proponent of capitalism. I make money off of it, but I'm gonna buy. I got bridge. I wear this pretty much. I got my Bridge Moto Allen. Like bridge. There's no. I don't need safety gear for nobody else, because that's the guy I go with. He's a fellow black guy. He's humble beginnings, all that stuff like that. So we're business partners. He has everything I need. So there's nothing I need to go and get somebody. And I support him and his family and his business and stuff like that. And that's what I do. That's the way I think, man. So again, with your bumpers, I don't know anybody. I think I actually know. I do know. I know there's whatever. We're not really. I don't want to promote this stuff because we ain't got that understanding yet. But I know now about 3 different guys that do something with arrows and everything. But what I mean, just talking to you recently, man, it's like getting the stuff on there, get it on the site, and even if people buy, like even in Japan, like why would they buy? Because Japanese are starting to unlock the matrix, and they're actually now seeing that I don't have to buy stuff from here, and they get a kick out of buying shit from Texas, from California now. Just like we get a kick out of getting some shit from Kyoto or Tokyo, you know, wrapped up in some Japanese newspaper to Texas. It's like this was in Japan, so now it's here in, you know, it's here in Texas now. So, you know, you get a JZX81 and they got an ETC reader card in there or some stuff like that. Shit like that, you know, some in Japan stuff. So my long story short, guys, support your people before you go out and support a random guy. And if you're doing it just because you just don't want to pay your boy $2,000 because you just can't somehow see him come up on $2,000 of your own money. People do that, man, and it's like a really spiteful attitude. It's very, you have flaws. So if you have a problem. So if the reason why you don't want to support somebody close to you is because you don't want to see them progress, you're not really a friend of theirs. And I hope sooner or later they figure out that you're not a friend and they leave you alone, because it's just better not to coexist like that. Maybe you need to be with people on your own level and not people like us where we're trying to strive. And like your guy you mentioned, reevaluation is a very important thing. A lot of people don't do it, and the best people who are very successful do it all the time. Some people do it weekly. Some people do a little bit too much, but you gotta say, for example, one thing I'll tell you full bore, because honesty is best, and like a real example is a real example. When I first opened, I was so in a grind of getting stuff done that when people came to the shop, they didn't know I was reservation based. So when they came, I would meet them at their car and tell them, hey, I'm busy. You gotta email me. And then send them on their way. And then I did that for like 3 years. Never came back, and I never got an email, right? And then one day a guy came in, and I kind of like I did that, and I was like, man, in that moment, I was like, hey, man, let me talk to the guy for like 5 minutes, give him a card. This guy became a customer. He spent like $30,000 here at the shop. You know what I mean? So actually, no, that guy spent roughly $60K at the shop.
Hey.
Yeah. So, you know,
you never know what's going to come from,
I could have been in a
I sold cars too.
Yeah. So I mean, with that, but you know, it's a different. So because my thing is like I don't want to waste time, and I got in that thing like I don't waste time. But my thing is now because I don't get, dude, I could literally be here 7 days a week, and I get maybe no people, or I'll get like one guy going up the street and stops and he sees the cars. But I set the tone where they know that my shop's not a family zone. It's not Toretto's, so we're not coming here to hang out like I just said on the Instagram. And so I set that tone actually so harshly that they're fucking scared. They're actually, and then I'm bigger than them too. So you got that going on too, where I'm physically bigger than you. I train jiu-jitsu so I can fight, and I train martial arts. So you add all that stuff up, and he's like, man, this guy might like want to fight or some shit like that. And one guy actually said online, like you said, he seemed like he want to fight me. I'm like, no, dude, you were a jerk, and I put you in your place. And I can fight, so if we want to get physical, cool. I like fighting. I got mats up here. We can do it legally and everything.
Me too. I enjoy fighting. I haven't gotten a fight in so long.
It's that crackback hit, or that people don't understand what it's like to hit somebody so cleanly that you don't even feel it. You just blow through them. That's an undescribable feeling that only people who play football or contact sports know. Where you hit somebody at the right step and you just run through 200 pounds of another person and they hit the ground, and it's just like you didn't feel it. It just was so quick. That's it's hard to explain. Physical. I have to be physical, dude. I have to be. But
that's why I played so many positions on both sides of the ball, man. That's what they loved about me. I wasn't just a guard. I was the pulling guard. Like I was the one. You're getting full speed. You ain't like look out of high school. I was 318. I was 318 pounds out of high school. 6'2". Like
damn, you were one of those guys. You're those guys I was talking about. We meet in the finals. You would have got. And then the thing is, my coach, who he was from Louisiana. But he played like I say, he played I want to say it was one of the Texas teams, and he won championships. But he was like, the way he was motivated, he's like, man, my boys of Texas up here, they beat y'all ass right now. Y'all think y'all the shit, you know what I'm saying? But he would always say this shit and they would fire us up, and then we kind of find out like, yeah, we would get murdered. As good as we were, we would get murdered because they were just on the programs, the fields. We had Nike jerseys and stuff like that, and Washington Redskins gave us some jerseys and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. But you guys had the stadiums, the town shut down. Like we didn't have none of that shit, man. We didn't have the town shutting down on game day for high school. We didn't have, and then we go and play, we go on the thing, and like the one thing that annoyed the shit out of us was the fucking cowbells, dude. Like, what the fuck's this cowbell? Nobody has cowbells in Baltimore City, dude. Like, nobody. Like, maybe somebody got a gun in their pocket, but nobody has cow. So like that shit was annoying the fuck out of us because it was like the whole game, there's cowbells and shit. And we were getting our ass beat, so everything was getting really annoying. He's like, man, shut the fuck up with that cowbell, dude. So it's like we're getting blown out, dude. And it's like my senior year, and that's the last game. We just getting murdered. You know, they had like 670 rushing yards, and it's just like, this is not cool, dude. So but yeah, long story short, we can go on all day about football shit, man. We probably
same. I was about to say the same thing. It was like our college team was trash. Like I left a year and a half into my full ride scholarship because of racism and toxicity. Man. But like literally, we won one game per season. Okay. And I had just left my high school football team. It like district championship was tradition.
Yeah.
Every year we were winning. Every year we went 2 or 3 rounds into the playoffs minimum.
And to the point and people don't believe this, man. Like a very, 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 very solid and efficient high school team. I'm talking about where the coaches are all like pro guys, semi-pro. There's high school teams out there that could be college teams. People don't believe that. Like our
linebackers was butthurt that I said that.
Yeah,
they were so mad that and I was like, yeah, I know we could beat. Like, are you serious?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It was wild.
That's like weird and that's wild. People like they like high school now. Like, nah, dude, this we were 4A champs. Yeah, in the city. We happened to be bigger, more physical than all the guys. One of my guys, Jason Murphy, played for Texas, played for the oil. He actually tried. He was he roamed around. He was a lineman at Virginia Tech, and Jason, like, my thumb to this day fucking hurts from the one day Jason like jammed it up and back, and it still hurts, man. Still, like, I can move it around from that one play in practice, man. But Jason was you could tell when you lined up, like, you knew Jason was going to the pros, man. That dude would hit you, man, and it was a different kind of fucking feeling, bro. And you just knew that some guys, when you played against him, like, that guy is going pro. He just got it. He has it, and he Virginia Tech All-American pro, played for multiple teams, and now his life is set up. Now he's coaching. He's a coach for the Ravens and stuff like that, man. So it's just like, bro, it's just like it worked out for him. And Jason was one of those guys where he was big, 6'5", huge dude, man. But he was a real gentle giant, and people like called him soft and shit like that and make fun of him because he didn't go to the clubs and he didn't act like typical black guy. And I was the same way. We would beat the shit out of people, but I didn't go to the clubs because what's going to happen, they're still mad that we beat them 72-0. So when they see us at the club, they want to fight. And people get stabbed and shit. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I'm going home and play with these computers, my Dell PC and shit, put it together and take it apart. And that's what I did after school. I was a clown. In school. So Jason and the guys are calling him that. And now look at him, man. He's an example of what you can do if you put aside trying to be a cool guy on the corner for a summer. His wife's set up. He's always going on trips and everything. He saved his money. He didn't blow it on dumb shit. And he reinvested it, so now he got his own little organizations going on and everything. And I had Jason on a podcast a little while ago, man. Awesome dude. Yeah, man. Again, we'll probably have another podcast just football, some shit, man, and talk about that, man. But again, man, let me close this out, brother. Again, man, thank you for your time. Again, guys, make sure on July 9th you're gonna check out things out there. Drift Hub. I'll put everything down in the description so you guys can see it. And you're gonna probably see this a day before, 2 days before. So. Either way, the podcast was promotion, but it was. I just wanted to get you on here and get the talk to me, man, because I know these guys, friends for years, and we send the feedback. We really get to learn. Like, I never knew I never knew a lot of stuff, man. And I never post football pictures. You never post one, so we just never knew that about each other. So we might got some other. Cool. So what was not that it matters, man. What you guys?
We got stomped on by including Montana.
So we were ACC. So my last was that was the cap week was a different week, and it was like, hey, we going hard this week because we want to win this game, and I was unleashed. So I was making plays, and that the practice was so, and guys who walk on, man, you could literally be the hot shit one week, and then the next week you're like fucking at the bottom of the totem pole just by one play, or how you act and everything. And I was making plays and shit, and the coach was like, "Hey man, keep doing what you're doing," giving us the dumb fucking looks, doing it with aggression. And then I'm like, I don't fucking supposed to be in this gap right here, man. But I went there with fucking aggression and shit. And he said, "Hey man, this is what we want you to do and shit. Keep doing this. You'll walk up and you'll be able to travel with us." And because what they did for walk-ons, the top walk-on of that week would get to suit up and travel. You're not gonna play, obviously, but you get to suit up and travel with. Yeah. So this one particular guy, he was just a guy, man, and he was just fucking on point. He was pretty much right there between moving from the walk-on roster to like the regular roster, and he got to travel all the time. He was fucking good though, man. He was real good. But I was like, man, that was the goal I had, to try to like get the flight with the team, because walk-ons don't fly. You fuck stay home. And you act like the guys when the guys are away. Shit, so you go downtown and all the guys are gone. So now you're getting all the chicks because all the starters are gone. So it's just and then I got told,
hotel stays, free food.
Yeah, I got told. Plus, I made a mistake and wore the practice jersey down, practice shirt. They was like, "Yeah, take that shit off and never wear it again." And I thought I was a cool guy, because it was some shit that you can't buy it. You can only get this shirt as a football player. So I knew that, and I wore it out, and he was like, yeah. And Sean Merriman, he's in his like fucking flower hat with his tank top on, and they're all down there. He's in an Escalade in college. I don't know how he got that. Let's don't know how he got that, but whatever. But he's like, yeah, man. A cool guy came up to me, one of the starting defensive backs. He's like, and he was a cool cat. He's like, yeah, man, you just walked on, right? I was like, yeah, cool, man, but like, don't wear that shirt again down here. Like, because and he wasn't saying it like he was saying it because if something happens in a fight, we get ID'd quickly because they know that you're wearing that shirt. And so he was like, yeah, don't wear the shirt because it brings heat to it. If something happens, we get in a fight, blah, blah, blah. We want to blend in with regular clothes. And, you don't want to do that. So, gee whiz, for the guys there who future walk-ons that's listening and watching, you're going to stand out.
Don't party with your gear on, okay?
Don't party with your gear on. And it don't matter if you're a walk-on or not. You're still going to get the same love. And people know it's something about how big you are that they know you're not a regular dude there. You're a baller. So they're gonna fucking try to mess with you and provoke you and stuff like that, man. So don't put yourself in that position and be on a blotter on a Monday morning, talking to the coaches on why you were in fight and shit like that. So yeah. So life lessons, man, out there. Again, man, thank you again for your time, for going in. We'll definitely do this again, man. So again, this podcast is way too short to pack your whole life into it. It's impossible, even if you did 10 hours.
Appreciate it.
But so we did.
Thank you. Get my partner on next time too.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. We do that, man. So and I'm glad we had the Zoom. We only had one drop, so Zoom seemed like it's gotten better. I did update and everything, so Zoom looked like it's going to be good. So that way we could fill up the room. We could put next time we can actually do like some link stuff and have guys drop in or whatever, ask questions and stuff like that. So as Zoom, it seemed like it's more stable, so I might do that, and I'll announce the stuff and giveaways and stuff like that, so we can do stuff in the future, man. So again, man, thank you for your time, brother. Everybody out there, again, thank you for your time in the podcast. Again, this is a short one because it's like 2 hours, man. Lex normally do like almost 4 hours, Joe Rogan status.
Sure do.
And everything, man. But trying to make that smaller. But hey, man, this is great. I watch podcasts all the time, and when I'm on the road, 5 hours, like I just put it on, man. It's great. It's great for traveling and garage chatter. So guys, thank you for tuning in, giving us your time. And we'll see you guys later. So it was good night. Sign off from South Japan. See you guys later. Peace.